Have you ever lived, Diesel, in a toilet?
Not since freshman year of college because I didn't know how to handle my booze at the time.
Lived in a toilet is how we start the Tolo Tuesday right here on the Fan Upstate. I know that is not what you expected, Diesel, not what you expected, Tolos, but as we do this Masters Audio Blitz, maybe the best, most fascinating audio. If you have not heard this, I think this is worthy of leading the show. Not Rory winning the Masters back-to-back, not Scotty Scheffler getting mad at a reporter, but living in a toilet. Have you heard this audio yet?
No, I'm going to need a little additional explanation because I don't have a clue what this is about.
This is so weird but funny, and that's why it's leading the show. Hao Tong Lee. You've heard of Hao Tong Lee?
Yeah.
He had some stomach trouble over the weekend, and he was pretty candid with the media when asked about these issues he was having. So this is the audio clip that leads the show today from the Masters from Hao Tong Lee.
Went to a toilet last night a lot of times, and this morning when I got to the golf course and still feeling really bad, and kind of like live in the toilet. And I didn't hit many balls on the driving range. I just feeling really, really bad. No energy, fuzzy. Want to throw out something. I actually just plan to play a few holes, see how it goes. If really sick, and I probably just decide not to. So glad I'm survived today.
You feel better now after a round?
Especially after that 4 birdies, somehow I felt quite nice. Yeah.
I think Augusta cured you. Augusta made you feel better?
Definitely. Okay. Major makes me feeling good.
Does Augusta make you feel better?
Okay. I hadn't heard I feel like I lived in a toilet.
Yeah.
But yesterday, I did hear the guys on the show before us joking about him spending a lot of time up in the azalea bushes. There was a hole where he had like a 10 on a par 4 or something. And they said, what was he really doing up in those azalea bushes?
Is that not bad? Like the biggest moment of your entire life, your body just decides to give you the bleeps, right before the match.
Colin Morikawa said he got nervous.
He did say that.
Hao Tong Lee, he got the bubble guts.
He should have blamed Rory's dinner. His champion. Well, he wasn't there at the champions dinner.
Well.
That's my bad. That's my bad. He didn't eat the champions dinner, right? Because he's not a champion. So what did the investigate? Well, I'm sorry. That was my bad for thinking he was invited to the dinner. What did he eat on Tuesday and Wednesday night? The Red Lobster in Augusta get him? Those cheese biscuits, did it get them?
Oh, don't you? Oh, whoa.
Huh? Greasy. They're buttery.
We will not.
They're buttery.
We will not accept slang of the Cheddar Bay biscuit on this show.
I still eat them. I still like them. I like them. Okay, maybe it was a Ryan's buffet. You remember Orion's?
Yeah, we had one down the street here not too long ago.
Maybe he went to the local Ryan's in Augusta, got to feeling a little bad, a little wonky on Wednesday, and made a few too many regrets at that Ryan's buffet. There used to be one, not Ryan's, but they were big down in Florida. What was the buffet from back in the day that I'm thinking of?
Oh, gosh.
Very similar to Ryan's.
You're not talking about Golden Corral.
No, it's still around.
I grew up going to Western Steer Buffet. That was, more of a steakhouse buffet.
Yeah, I can't think of this one. I used to eat at them.
Buffets.
I think they had one down toward the Low Country. One of our listeners will know.
Kids these days will never understand the beauty of the buffet because places don't do it anymore.
And Golden Corral's kind of gross, right?
Yeah, most buffets are kind of gross.
It's not Ryan's. It wasn't. Oh my gosh, it was a good one though. And I'm looking online to try to find it. There was a lot of. I feel like there were a few of them in the upstate, maybe a few down the Low Country. I used to eat at one in Florida a good bit, but it was better than Ryan's. And for whatever reason, it wasn't an Old Country buffet. For whatever reason, I just can't think of what it was. It wasn't a pizza buffet. Anyways, one of the Tolos on the text line. There we go. Shoney's. Shoney's.
Shoney's.
Yeah. Thank you, Tolo J.
Oh.
Butane. He is so clutch, Tolo
See,
J-Butane.
I think I've only ever eaten at a Shoney's like twice.
They were
in my
good,
life.
man. They were good.
It was amazing the one time that I had it. I went there for breakfast, the breakfast buffet. Incredible.
They were elite. MD says Quincy's. No, it wasn't Quincy's.
Well, they weren't elite because you don't see them anymore.
I know, but I think it was just the old buff. I don't know.
It's your nostalgia kicking.
It is. It really is.
You know,
I there was something about a Shoney's to me.
Restaurants are always better as a kid because you didn't have to pay for them.
No, you didn't. But man, I look, Ryan's was good, but Shoney's was just Shoney's hit different. It really did. Now we've gotten on this buffet topic in the text line and the stream, obviously blowing up, as you can imagine. OSN says Po Folks was good. Never went to Po Folks. Never heard of it. Texter says Quincy's. No, not Quincy's, but it was Shoney's. Thank you, Tolo J. Butane. So point being, Hao Tong Lee went across the street. Maybe it was the Golden Corral, right? Sorry for the Red Lobster slander, and he got a little upset stomach. One more time, in case you just tuned in, here was why he didn't play well in Augusta this past weekend. Hao Tong Lee, what happened?
Went to a toilet last night a lot of times, and this morning when I got to the golf course and still feeling really bad, and kind of like live in the toilet.
Live in the toilet. Oh. That is the quote of the master. Sorry, Rory. Sorry, Justin Rose. Hao Tong Lee living in the toilet, Diesel, I think, is promo worthy. I do.
He should have taken the advice of Toronto Blue Jays baseball player Kawasaki. What was Kawasaki's last name? It was I forget his first name, but anyway, he was a baseball player for the Blue Jays, and he had a very interesting method to keep himself fit and healthy on the course. And he says this, Cole, put me in queue here if you don't mind.
Go ahead. Monkeys ever what? Cramp. There's no way this is real audio. There's no way that's a real player saying that.
Real.
That is incredible.
Is a quote machine.
Oh my God. Monkeys never cramp. That is good.
Yeah, but he loses the M and it just sounds like crap.
Yeah.
Munenori Kawasaki.
Quote of the year, maybe.
Munenori
right there.
Kawasaki. No, that's old. That was 2014.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
It was that old?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I
One
didn't
of
realize
my
that.
favorites of him, he goes, they were playing Boston. He goes, he big poppy, me little poppy. He very funny. Big, me little.
That is incredible. That is incredible. So shout out to Hao Tong Lee pushing through, persevering in Augusta with the bubble guts.
Maybe he learned something about his swing also, right? If he's got a clinch, maybe he follows through. He snaps the hips through.
That's gross.
And doesn't, and he shallows out the club, because the cramp hits and he shallows out the club and he swings it better.
What about this one? I think this is a close runner-up. Who was in the wrong here? We didn't get time to get to this yesterday, Diesel, but was the reporter in the wrong or was Scotty Scheffler in the wrong? This was after Scotty's masterful performance on Saturday where he did not birdie the 2 par 5s. People thought he might. Here's that audio in case you have not heard it.
That was a 65 today. What did it feel like it could have or should have been? That's just a terrible question. Next question. Awful.
What did they do to go low today?
His laugh is the best part.
He laughs
through it at the end. You shot a 65.
Yeah.
What went wrong for you? What is that a fair question? Me and a buddy of mine were debating this the other night. Was it a bad question? A 65. I think the reason Scotty laughed, he's thinking, my God, dude, have you ever shot a 65 in your life?
No, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to get him to say, you know what? I screwed up on those holes. I misread it. I didn't have the pacing right. That's what he was trying to set him up for, which is a fairly standard golf question. Like, why'd you miss that putt? Right? That's what he's trying to get at. But he's not trying to ask it in the common way of, hey, Scotty, why'd you miss that putt? He would have said, well, that's a stupid question. It's a long putt and the greens are really slick. So, there's no right, there's no wrong. Scotty was clearly annoyed, and he just asked an annoying question to somebody who was already annoyed.
Oh, my gosh. I don't know if I've ever heard that before. Yeah, shot a 65. What do you think went wrong? One more time in case you had not heard this yet.
That was 65 today. What did it feel like it could have or should have been?
That's just a terrible question. Next question. Awful.
What enables me?
His laugh at the end. What do you feel like it could have or should have been? Sorry, it wasn't what went wrong. What do you feel like it could have or should have been?
Yeah.
And again, a 65 diesel, like, gosh almighty, 65 is pretty good. It's just tough, though, because I think the reporter probably had a good basis, reasoning for asking it, probably talking about one or two specific holes, but the way it came out, the way it came across, it's tough. I don't think Scotty's in the wrong there. I thought it was Scotty.
No,
it sounds kind of like a dumb question.
He number one, he could have just answered the question. He knew what he knew what the reporter was asking.
He knew, yeah.
He could have just answered the question and moved on from it. Nobody's ever talking about this again.
Yeah.
He at least he handled it with a small amount of humility and was like, come on, man.
And laughed. And laughed a little bit.
Man. Like,
it wasn't that bad.
I just went and shot a 65. When was the last time you shot a 65?
Right.
At Augusta? I mean, he could have blown up on the guy, but he didn't.
He didn't. He laughed a little bit. Let's see. Here was Rory getting the green jacket. You know, everybody said, well, if Rory wins again, who's going to place the green jacket on him? Here's what that sounded like in case you did not see it after the round on Sunday.
Thank you.
It would now be my honor to place the green jacket on you once again. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Rory won last year.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, last year's winner always places the green jacket on this year's winner. So there was no last year, like he couldn't throw it up in the air, spin around, and put it on. You know what I mean? Even though that might have been a good TV.
Oh, we got a heck of a golf round and a magic show.
That's right. That's right. Here he was talking about his mom and dad, how he owes them everything. This is pretty good audio in case you hadn't heard it. Maybe have your tissues ready for this one.
Mom and Dad, I owe everything to you. You're you're the most wonderful parents. And if I can be half the parent to Poppy as you were to me, then I know I've done a good job. Thank you.
Good stuff there, right? Really good stuff. And you know what's special is his parents were there this year, Diesel. They were not there last year.
Yeah.
When he won the Masters for the first time.
That doesn't sound like good parenting to me.
I know. I guess
show up.
I think he did talk about that, not wanting them there to, you know.
No, I get it. You just keep going. I mean, how many times have they gone to Augusta? I wonder how many times they've been there for the Masters and they've seen him struggle, not win, and how hard that is to watch their son go through that. And you know, if he's like, you know what, you showed up to the first 16, and the one that I win is the year you choose not to fly out.
But how incredible is it though that like he wins it, then he says the next year, oh yeah, by the way, I want you there, come to the Masters, and then he wins again. Like that's incredible. The odds, the chances of that happening, man. Really cool. By the way, he also, Diesel, I think we mentioned this yesterday, he played a Sunday round with his dad last Sunday, the Sunday before the Masters started. Pretty cool. I don't imagine many Masters winners have that opportunity to go there on Sunday and play with their dad. So Rory, very familiar with the course, as we talked about yesterday, but very cool audio there. He was asked if he would still be hungry in his career, Diesel, after all this success, now winning back-to-back Masters. Here's what Rory said on his hunger. What drives him now? Maybe.
Rory?
You know, I mean,
I guess he's not very hungry, is he?
I mean, gosh, let's try that again. Rory, are you there? How hungry? There you go.
10 years to win at my 5th major, and then, you know, my 6th one's come pretty soon after it. So, yeah, I'm not putting a number on it, but I certainly don't want to stop here.
I'm not putting a number on it, but I certainly don't want to stop here. Here was that audio again.
10 years to win at my 5th major, and then, you know, my 6th one's come pretty soon after it. So, yeah, I'm not putting a number on it, but I certainly don't want to stop here.
I just wonder how long he is now from thinking of, I'm not saying retirement, because he's still like he's in very good shape. He's a very good golfer. He's won back-to-back Masters. But, you know, Diesel, they always say, like, when you start thinking about retirement's when you usually just need to go ahead and do it. I wonder if it's crossed his mind yet. I wonder if it's even crossed his mind now that he's got the monkey off his back, won the green jacket, completed the career Grand Slam, and then it wins again this year. Like, it has to cross your mind, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, you retire when you feel like you don't stand a chance to win, right? If you don't feel like you're competitive inside the top 5, top 10 more often than not, that's when you just go ahead and hang it up. I guess that means, though, that Jordan Spieth needs to hang it up, that Justin Thomas needs to hang it up.
But he's only 36,
Jordan Spieth
you know?
needs to hang it up. There's a lot of guys out there that are not consistently there inside the top 10 that have won majors before. Maybe they should just go ahead and retire.
And I'm not asking that question because I think he is going to retire. He may go 10 more years, and I hope he does. But I just wonder, like, inside the mind of Rory McIlroy, you think about retirement. I think about retirement. We all think about it and dream about what age. That number is a lot older. Or
my bank account says, no, you better take your ass to work tomorrow.
That number for us is a lot, obviously, significantly older than what it is for Rory. But Rory's only 36 years old.
You know, and you know, golf, I don't know what's going on with Rory skeletally, muscularly, in the way that, like, you know, Tiger had his clear health issues after he had swung the golf club 1.5 million times. I mean, it's a lower impact sport than like football. And you might say, hey man, you know, you can go a little longer than your average NFL player, but eventually it's going to catch up with you. Your back's going to get sore. Your knees are going to get sore. Call QC Kinetics if that happens.
There you go.
A little plug there. But, you know, he's potentially got a long time left. He does. A lot of gas left in the tank.
And I'm not indicating or thinking that he should. Again, I want to be very clear. I just think, Diesel, that at some point you probably think about, like, hey, when would be a good time? What would be a good number? Like, he's 36 now. I don't know what he's thinking inside of his mind, but maybe he thinks, okay, 45. I'd like to play till that's only 9 more years.
And he can be as selective as he wants. You know, chatting with Dan B, Dan's a pilot, and Dan told me that, you know, he gets to be selective as far as what flights he wants to fly. So he gets to pick and choose and say, I want to do that one. I want to do that one. I want to do that one. And if that's the way Rory wants to kind of finish out his career in a couple of years, sure.
It's just interesting. It is. And the reason I bring it up is because he's reached the pinnacle, right? He's reached the pinnacle of the sport. He's won the green jacket. He's completed the career Grand Slam. He's now done it twice in terms of winning the green jacket. Let me ask you this. Here's a fun one for you. Does he say, hey, maybe I try to go and do it again?
He got 9 or 10 years. He'd be the first one to ever win 3
career Grand Slams is what I'm saying.
That's true.
What if he says, hey, I've already gotten 2 of the 4.
Yeah.
What if I go win 2 more majors, the ones that I need? I can be a 2-time Grand Slam winner. Think about the accolades. You're talking about all of a sudden going from where you are now to one of the greats right there beside Tiger. And he's already up there in terms of one of the greatest golfers of all time in the conversation. I said yesterday he's the greatest European golfer of all time. But think about if he said, you know what? And I don't know if he wants to. But what if he said, I want to go get that career Grand Slam again? I've got 2 of the 4. Let me go get 2 more. That would be fascinating. I think it goes 9 more years, though.
Texter says, and you brought this up on the show yesterday, have you guys talked about Rory's supposed advantage at the Masters? The fact that Rory could spend all week playing at the Masters. He said he's played
8 straight days.
Played a Sunday round with his dad. He was there on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yep.
Doing practice rounds.
Right.
And then he played the tournament over the course of the weekend. Here's the thing, Texter. I mean, it sounds like, he's got an advantage because he certainly got the money to get on a private jet and fly up to Augusta, play a round of golf, fly home, pick up his kid from school, and do the same thing again the next day. He's got the money to do it. Sure. That's certainly an advantage, right? But consider this. 89 different unique golfers have won the Masters. Only 4 of them have won it back-to-back.
Yeah, it's tough.
That is 5%.
It's very tough.
5%. Now, we don't know if Jack ever played extra rounds at Augusta National. We don't know if Tiger ever played additional rounds at Augusta National leading up to the event. We don't know that.
And Texter,
but if only 5% of the golfers who have ever won it back-to-back, I wouldn't say that that's an advantage.
And Texter, we did talk about it yesterday. It was actually my overreaction for Overreaction Monday. We talked about it in the 5 o'clock segment. So you can go back and listen on the fanupstate.com if you want to. But that was my overreaction. And again, overreaction is an overreaction. But we did settle on the fact that we believe Diesel and I agree that it is an earned advantage. It is an earned advantage. That's where we kind of landed, Texter. That's where we wanted to settle, because maybe it is an advantage that you play the course that many times in a row beforehand, but it is an earned advantage, and Rory earned it.
You could certainly also make the argument that playing that same course that many days in a row could get into your head and mess with your head.
Sure.
Right? I mean, you could say it makes you feel overconfident. You're playing in much more casual circumstances for those couple of days leading up, and then you go play in this pressure-filled situation, and it gets in your head. I mean, you could make a logical argument for almost anything.
Yeah.
Does it help that you get to play the course again and again and again? Yeah, I guess you're familiar with things. Maybe you. I don't know if in those practice rounds he gets to go out with a rangefinder and chart his locations and gather more data. But I mean, he's played this course. How many years? 18 times he's played in the Masters. 18 times.
Yeah.
That's the advantage.
It's earned. It's earned.
That's the advantage.
Texter says this comes from the 436. Rory is the GOAT and a better driver than Tiger. However, I wanted Cam to win it all this year. Texter, the funny thing about that text is, look, Rory's very good. Rory is one of the best, but let's not. Again, we did this last year. We talked about it 2 years ago when Diesel and I started this show 2 years ago, 3 years. Now we're going on 3 years. Scotty had just won the Masters right when we started the show. If you remember, he won by like 8 strokes. He ran away with it. Sunday was ultra boring because Scotty obliterated the field. And the conversation then was, hey, Scotty's better than Tiger, blah, 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 blah. He's going to be better. Texter, I don't know if you're being serious or not.
I think he's cutting a joke about Tiger flipping over multiple cars.
I hope so, because I'll say this. For anybody out there that wants to be really biased with recency biased, Rory's great, Scotty's great, but let's not entertain that. Let's not entertain anybody better than Tiger, even with what Tiger's going through. Let's not entertain that. JB says, I'm selective at work too. If I feel like doing anything, I do. I feel like I'm not doing anything that's day would. I don't understand your message. Sorry, JB.
If I feel like doing anything I do. So I'm reading this quote.
That's what I'm struggling with.
If I feel like doing anything I do. And if I feel like not doing anything that day, that's what I do. After working there 26 years, that's an earned advantage.
I think he's trying to say the typo, if I don't feel like doing anything, that's what I do. I believe so. Earned advantage is what we're settling on. And good. Texter does text back in and say he was joking. Thank God. Because Texter, I'm picking at you, but I'm being serious. There are probably people out there who overreact and say, hey, Rory's better than Tiger. Scotty, no.
I think that joke went over your head, Cole.
It might have, but I do. I've heard it, though. I've heard it. You've heard it. We talked about it 2 years ago with Scotty. People say, oh, well, Scotty's going to be a better golfer than Tiger. Like, let's just not let recency bias. I get the driver thing. That's funny. But I'm saying I've heard it. I've heard it from other people. We don't need allow because it's not even a conversation. It's not even something we should entertain. That bad, Diesel. Do you agree, by the way,
about
not being able to entertain that conversation
about Rory being a GOAT?
Yeah, Rory or Scotty. We're not going to entertain that, are we?
No, we're not even there. We're not even close to being.
All right,
there
thank
yet.
you.
But there is a prestigious club that Rory finds himself in now that he's won his second straight Masters. And Rory maybe giving us a little TMI, not quite Haotong Li kind of TMI, but a different kind of TMI. During the 18th hole at the Masters, we'll reveal what he revealed to the world next. Did playing 8 straight days at Augusta National help Rory keep it cool during hole number 72 of the Masters tournament? Well, no, it didn't. So this whole debate as to whether or not Rory got some kind of an unfair advantage, let's just put that right to bed here, Colin. I'm not just making this up. This is information that came directly from a wearable heart rate monitor that Rory had on and then published the data for immediately after his round. This is really interesting stuff. It's also maybe a little bit scary because consider the fact of how this information could be used in real time in the future if other athletes choose to wear this. Rory is an investor in a company called Whoop, which I've never heard of before, but I guess they make like wearable wristbands that you put on. They track your heart rate. They track your all the things your Apple Watch does. It just doesn't tell time. I guess I've never used one of these things, but here are some of the highlights that his Whoop
there it is
during the Masters. Rory took 24,000 steps on Sunday. Curiosity, Cole, do you have on your watch or your phone, does it track how many steps you do?
Yes.
On a daily
iPhones
basis?
There's a health app.
Yeah, I got to find that on my phone real quick. I got to see how many steps I've taken today. I've gone just shy of 5,700 steps today. Took my dog for a walk a little while
Pretty
ago.
good.
Feeling good about that.
Pretty
but
good.
Otherwise, sitting around the house a lot, doing a lot of show prep. Rory multiplied that by 5 in his round on Sunday. Rory took 91,000 steps during the tournament total. That's interesting information. You talk about whether or not golf is a high impact sport. No, it's not, but it is an endurance sport. And the fact that you're walking up and down these hills, playing these golf courses again and again and again.
And that's over 4 days.
That's over 4 days. Here's what's interesting about this information collected from his Whoop watch. Rory's heart rate spiked to 135 during his tee shot on 18. And if we're wondering why, I'd love to know the information on his tee shots on other holes, but on 18, he was up at 135. And what's really interesting about that's high, by the way. That's pumping.
Yeah.
His resting heart rate for the week is a creepy crawly slow 47 BPMs. So his heart was beating almost 4 times faster than his resting heart rate on that tee shot. Are we surprised that he sprayed it 40 yards off the fairway to the right?
No, not at all. And I think that, number one, that data is really interesting. I like data. I miss the old sports shows that were just like data driven.
All sports science. What a great
science,
show that was.
Right? I loved all those. I love the data behind sports. I'm a big stat guy. I like data. I like stats. And that makes it interesting for multiple reasons. Number one, it puts it in perspective of what the steps, when you talk about 91,000 steps, what a golfer, someone has to do physically, even though it's not the most physically taxing sport. We talked about that yesterday. 91,000 steps is still a lot of steps. You and your caddy both, you're out on a golf cart, right? You're walking the course. Number two, on the heart rate data, I think that's interesting because you remember yesterday when we talked about the golf, the game of golf being the most mentally taxing. I think that just ties so much into yesterday's conversation. Diesel, when you talk about Rory McIlroy on the 18th hole, Sunday round, the 4th round, and you said it got up to what, 140 something, the BPM? 135 BPMs, which is a lot, like you said. I think it just goes to show, even though that guy is standing still, even though when he walks from 17 to 18, guess what? He has a chance to catch his breath. You walk from 17 to 18 on any golf course, you have a chance to catch your breath. But guess what? When you're sitting there at 18 on a Sunday, standing still, mind you, people might think, and again, this goes into our conversation from yesterday, people might think, oh, golf's not that hard of a sport, but that just goes to show that I think the conversation we did have yesterday about it being mentally taxing, that goes into being mentally taxing. When your heart is beating at 135 BPM, it's up to your mind to have to figure out a way to control your heart rate, breathe in and out, and then your heart rate is affecting what you do. your play. You talked about him spraying it off to the right on 18.
Yep.
You can't tell me that there's more. There's a sport out there that in a situation like that, a tight situation that requires the body to do so much in such a limited time space, if that makes sense, of what that guy has to do on hole 18. And we saw he hit it far right. He was still able to recover now.
Yeah.
That's the key word.
But
that is fascinating. 135.
Heart rate up and down, up and down, up and down. You got to figure out how to control it and slow it down quickly. I'm looking at my app right here on my phone, my health app. The most number of steps I've taken in the last month on a given day was 11,414 steps. That's the most. And Rory doubled that and then some.
Yeah,
just on Sunday at the Masters.
But if you could stop and your heart rate went back down to like resting, it'd be one thing. But like the fact that's what blows my mind. He's standing on 18 and he's standing still. He's caught his breath. But even after he's caught his breath, his heart rate is still 135.
135. Here's what's fascinating about that. It fell to 121 on his approach shot out of the pine straw.
Wow.
So he was able to slow his heart rate down in what I would consider to be a much more pressure-packed situation.
Yeah.
Now, granted, he had extra time. The gallery moved out of the way. You know, he had more time to slow it down than he would if he was on the fairway, just taking a normal second approach shot. It fell to 105 during his winning putt, and then it jumped to 150 during his celebration.
Let me tell you what I think makes it so difficult in that situation. There's nothing you can do to bring it down. Like if you're on a treadmill, and your BPM's 135, you can go from whatever your incline and speed is to a much lower incline and speed and bring it down.
You can go to 135 to 130,
you're fine.
125, but they got to do it like that.
How do you? But you can't though. You can't bring it down. Like if it maxed at 135 and the longer you wait before you hit that tee shot, I would imagine, I'm not a doctor, I would imagine your heart rate's only going to increase.
Yeah, you got to figure out a way to be accurate while your heart is pumping.
That
fast.
is insane,
like,
man.
You got to figure out a way to be good. Like you can't stand there and like look at your watch and say, okay, now it's down to 90.
Know what?
Now I can go ahead and tee off.
I'm not a golfer, but I would think that maybe the easier path, the easier solution would be to get to it quick.
Yeah.
Don't think about it. Hit the tee shot, get up there, hit it, move on. The longer you wait, and maybe I'm wrong on that, but the longer you wait, the more dramatic, your heart rate. Oh.
Well, I mean, if there's normal golfers amongst us, you know, sometimes you got to play ready golf. You gotta go quicker. And sometimes you chip one out of the rough and you jog up to your next shot. And
I can tell you
go
this.
ahead and set up and hit it again. And it's an awful shot because your heart's pumping and you can't get focused.
The only reason I say that and bring that up, Diesel, is because when I bow hunt, and I know this is a different sport, but when I bow hunt using a compound bow, it's very similar. When you draw back on a compound bow and you've got a live animal in front of you, heart's racing, right? As you can imagine. I found the longer I hold it, the worse it gets. So whenever I hunt with a bow, I have to draw, aim, go. The longer I hold, obviously you're holding the weight of a bow back, but still, the longer you hold it, the longer you're mentally thinking, you're overthinking it. I can imagine it's the same thing in golf, and maybe I'm totally off, but let's say, for example, even that second shot where he's in the woods over to the right, the longer, I just don't see how that's in your favor the longer you have to wait.
He also goes into his routine, and it's extensive. We don't need to talk about it here, but it is nuts. If anybody wants to find the full routine for Rory,
it's crazy.
Find Joe Pompliano on Twitter, Pompliano, Joe Pompliano, and it's got his full day of routine. It is rigorous. Let's put it that way. Let's go to the phone lines and bring on Rick from Greer, who said that he was, where did he say he was going to be?
Braves game last night.
The Braves game, but he was going to be in a special section, the Hank Aaron section. What was it like, Rick?
Yeah, I bet so.
How Tong Lee did.
Crap. Yeah. No, it was not. Please do not go back ever again if they're going to play like that, Rick, because it was bad last night. The Battery, did you have to walk across that bridge? It's a long walk. I don't know where you park. You might have had VIP, but it's a long walk at the new over there in Cobb County. It's a good little stretch.
Okay.
I thought you were in the Hank Aaron section.
I was, but that's the redneck section I found out. Everybody's drinking. Oh, God, yes.
Well, at least you had a good time. I mean, you enjoyed any of it?
I had a great time,
okay,
but I sprayed a few to the right, too, just like Rory did yesterday.
Are you talking about in the bathroom or out of it?
Both ways.
Thanks, Rick.
But I enjoyed it. I want y'all to know, keep rooting the Braves on, even though they suck.
Well, don't go back. Don't go back because
positive vibes.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right. That's what wins games. Please don't go back, Rick.
Okay.
Thanks, Rick. Good to talk to you.
I don't want them to go back if they keep losing. I mean, they were bad last night.
Cole, do you know what all the Masters champion gets? It's always fun to talk about this on a year in and year out basis because most people forget, but there are 10 distinct things that Masters winners get. And there's rules and reasons behind all of this. To go through it quickly, you get a green jacket.
Yep.
You get to take it home for a year, but then you're supposed to bring it back and you have to leave it in your locker.
Right.
You can't take it off of the premises again unless you receive explicit permission. Number 2, you get a silver replica of the Masters trophy.
Yep.
1961, they commissioned the trophy. It's more than 900 pieces of silver. You get your name etched on the piece of hardware, and you get a replica of the replica also cast out of sterling silver.
Pretty cool.
Fine. Yeah, worth a lot of money, I'm sure. You get a gold medal, which was the original Masters commemorative keepsake, 3.5-inch diameter gold medal worth with 2.3 ounces of gold in it. This thing by itself, Cole, right now is worth over $11,000 just in gold.
And that's nothing to
nuts.
Rory. What's
right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
You get to set the next year's Masters Champions dinner. You can always do the Bubba Watson thing and do grilled chicken Caesar salad and confetti cake if you want. You get a permanent invitation to the Masters dinner. You get a golden locket in the shape of the Masters logo that opens up to reveal a photo of Bobby Jones, the co-founder of Augusta National. Those usually go to the wives or girlfriends. You get an honorary lifetime membership to Augusta National. This gets you past the evaluation process, the $40,000 initiation fee, and the several $1,000 a year annual fee to be a member. But here's what's interesting about that. You do have to be accompanied by an actual paying member if you want to bring a guest to Augusta.
How about that?
That's
Isn't that
weird.
Crazy? I have heard that before.
Weird. So being a champion doesn't get you past that.
No.
You get access to the champions
there
locker
aren't
room.
many of the winners that are members, by the way.
Right.
No, that's just
not.
not.
Why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you become a member? But also then I think that's a way so that members get to play with PGA champions.
Maybe
honestly. You get exemption to qualify for the Masters for life, automatic invitation to the U.S. Open, British Open, and PGA championships for 5 years, and lots of money. Rory won $4.5 million this year. The first ever Masters tournament, the winner got $1,500.
That's insane. There's no way.
Which is equivalent of $35,000 today.
That's still wild to think about, though. $1,500.
But $1,500 then was a ton of money.
That's crazy. That is so crazy to think about. 15.
If we want to put it in modern terms, it's 35 grand.
35 grand.
35 grand for a weekend's worth of work and winning the Masters.
Wow, that's unbelievable. Jarrett Tripp on the Joy Law Firm text line says, most golfers use Whoop. I used one myself, and it's way more accurate than Apple Watch. Only bad thing about it is it's a subscription instead of a one-time purchase.
How much more accurate can it be?
Well, that's what I was wondering. I don't know. I mean, your phone and watch, I'm sure it's pretty good. It might not be exactly, though, right? Yeah. It's interesting. Hey, it was a big night last night. Why? If you were a Lady Gamecock, there was a good chance, a high percentage, if you were a senior, you got drafted last night. The WNBA draft, who from Columbia is making their way to play in the professional league WNBA. We'll talk about what happened last night for Dawn Staley's Lady Gamecocks next.
Upstate.
Well, Dawn Staley Diesel fancies herself on many, many things as the head coach of the Lady Gamecocks, but one of the things that she really fancies herself on is sending her players to the WNBA. Regardless of what you think about Dawn Staley as a coach, you cannot deny what she does year in and year out, as the WNBA draft was last night, and South Carolina women's basketball seniors, Diesel, all three of them that we thought would go pretty high did go, and that was Raven Johnson, Tanaya Ladson, and Medina Okot. They were all three selected in the WNBA draft, and it was presented by State Street Investment Management, PSY. I have no idea why the title sponsors that long, but let's see. Johnson was the first Gamecock selected, Diesel at number 10 by the Indiana Fever. Okot was followed in the number 13 spot, heading to the Atlanta Dream, and Tanaya Latson went in the 5th spot in the second round as the first pick by the Los Angeles Sparks. So Fever, Dream, and Sparks all got a Gamecock last night. And what does it say about Dawn Staley's program, Diesel, that she's now able to put players in the league year after year like
year
this?
in and year out? It's a phenomenal recruiting tool. I mean, let's be real. Gino gets to say the same things. Vic Schaefer gets to say the same things. The coach over at UCLA gets to say the same things. They all get to wear that feather in their cap. But, I mean, what do we talk about every year? That outside of the 4 number 1 seeds and maybe a few of the number 2 seeds, there is an ocean between them, the elite of the elite, and everyone else. And this is why, because they just get to stockpile raw talent coming out of high school. They are the best at developing their talent, and then they are the best at putting them into the position to be drafted highly. I love the fact. I love the position that all of these players were drafted. Raven Johnson to the Indiana Fever. Now she's going to be over there playing with Caitlin Clark.
I know.
That's a great duo to have.
Good combo, right?
Medina Okot, number 13. Again, I know that your ego wants to be drafted inside the top 5, but if now you go in the top 5, you really go into a bottom 5 team. I would rather be in the back half of a round there because there's a better chance that I'm going to a good team, a more complete basketball team. And Tanaya Latson going to LA, that's just a dream for a lot of people, playing for a legendary franchise like the Sparks.
And it's crazy to think that the Indiana Fever got Caitlin Clark, but also now have Raven Johnson. Like, that's pretty crazy to think that. And I know Caitlin Clark, like, one player can't turn around an entire franchise, right? But that's a pretty good combo, like you mentioned, a pretty good 1-2 punch.
Not bad.
At least one Gamecock has been selected in 10 of the last 12 WNBA drafts, including 13 first-round selections. And South Carolina leads the nation with 15 overall and 8 first-round picks since 2020. And under head coach Dawn Staley, Diesel, 4 drafts have featured at least 3 Gamecock selections, including the last 2 seasons, rather. 3 Gamecocks were among the top 10 picks in 2017, 2023, a feat just 7 programs have accomplished. So you're talking about Dawn writing history. And that is insane to think about, that they lead the nation. South Carolina leads the nation with 15 overall and 8 first-round picks since 2020. That's an amazing feat.
Do we know if anybody had a camera on Flau'jae Johnson's mom?
I don't know. That'd be a good.
My daughter's winning at life, and she's gonna get that bag. And hey, good for her. You're going inside the top 10, number 8 to Golden State, the Valkyries out there. Good job. Hopefully, she goes on and has a phenomenal career. I know,
she's winning at life.
In a certain community, they refer to them as Tiger Moms. Now Flau'jae's mom, being that she played at LSU, that makes her a different kind of Tiger Mom.
Tiger Karen.
A little too intense about her daughter's prospects. But hey, she's inside the top 10, and that's a great moment. And it's not fair to Flau'jae to let her mom kind of take the spotlight here. She deserves a lot of credit for being as good a player as she is.
It's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing what Dawn Staley has done with putting players in the WNBA. I know it's not the NBA, and I know it's got a long ways to go. But, man, if you want to play in the WNBA, Dawn Staley is the coach to go play for. And it's pretty simple. And that might be why she continues to recruit the way she does.
And how about this? Medina Okot, she's now going to be playing alongside Angel Reese because Angel Reese got traded to the Atlanta Dream, last week, 10 days ago or so. And so now Medina, they're going to be playing side by side as fellow Dream players.
How about that?
Really
Dream on.
Yeah. And that was on Aerosmith's debut album. Let's talk about that for a second.
Probably not a good idea if I thought about it because I don't know anything about it.
Crazy that career-defining banger was on their debut album. We can talk about that at another time. Coming up next, Cole, let's talk about this team that the Charlotte Hornets face tonight. The Heat of Miami. What do the Hornets need to do to get it done? What's the format of this play-in tournament? All that coming your way next.
satisfying sports talk from start to finish.
You're going wire to wire
with Diesel and Cole Bryson
on the Fan Upstate.
Breaking news, Cole, as of about an hour ago, apologies, Tolos, we were just getting into the show. Didn't see this as it was happening live. Joe Shad, formerly of ESPN, now doing work for the Palm Beach Post, reported that Diana Rossini is no longer with The Athletic. Diana Rossini, photographed at an exclusive Arizona high-end hotel and resort, fingers crossed, hugging up on Mike Vrabel, the head football coach of the Patriots. Certainly calls into question how she got all of her exclusive stories, but it does unfortunately paint a light that unfairly on all female reporters. And there's a lot of people who've been saying for years, female reporters shouldn't be going into male locker rooms. Female reporters shouldn't be doing the job, yada, yada. That's a very sexist way of thinking of things. And it's unfair that Diana Rossini's tactics, allegedly, of getting her stories and her inside information is going to call into question all female reporters, but it's the world we live in.
It is the world we live in, and there will be a lot of people out there who say, hey, was that worthy of her getting fired from The Athletic or whatever the conversation was, whether she agreed? What was the wording you used? Was she fired?
Underdog NFL says she resigned.
Resigned. Okay. So
resigned from
there was probably a conversation, right, between Diana and The Athletic. The fact of the matter is it's a bad look. I am looking to see if there's anything else out there in terms of if there was a conversation. I'm not seeing much other than what you're saying about The Athletic and her resigning. Still looks like there's a lot of information coming out there, but I think it is one of those conversations that's probably at the end of the day mutually agreed on. I don't know that for a fact, but I would imagine that The Athletic isn't happy about it.
No,
I would imagine she's probably embarrassed by it. But the fact of the matter is, we played the audio last week. Diesel, guess what? It doesn't look better on her part based on what she said in the past about her husband.
Yeah.
So it's a messy situation. Unfortunately, it has to end this way.
We played the audio last week of her saying that her husband is average. He's just an average guy. And I would say now that given the way she spends her time outside of work and their marriage, that the husband is now bringing up the average for the family. And it sucks, man. She's 43 years old. She could have potentially had another 20 years in this business or more, right?
And she'll probably get picked up.
She's very talented. I don't know, man. Do you think Diana's done?
No, I don't think so. I think there's I'm not saying a bar stool would be the one, but a outlet like that.
Oh, okay.
You know
Lowest common denominator. I'm sure she'd be great on the Pat McAfee show.
Well, I'm just saying somebody that doesn't have the buttoned up broadcast, not regulations, but the buttoned up broadcast professionalism that a Athletic might have. I just think that somebody, I could be wrong. I don't know what form of media it will be. It may not be with the access that she had at The Athletic, because she had really good access. I mean, she did a good job.
Well, you wonder how she got that access.
Yeah. Different than access you're talking about.
Right.
She had a good job.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, you look, every action in life, good or bad, has consequences, and that one does as well. Hey, let me ask you this real quick. Is there going to be accountability for Mike Vrabel as well?
There should be. There should be. He's a married man too. He's going to be going into the season dealing with a wife at home that's wondering every time he goes on the road, is he meeting up with another reporter to get some inside information or give some inside information?
And then how do you handle it from the employer standpoint? Like,
right.
Is them doing what they did, being photographed, is that a fireable offense?
I
don't think so, right?
I don't think so. I mean,
people have affairs, unfortunately, right?
Yeah. I mean, let's be real. You telling me no other football player has ever cheated on their wife when they're out on the road or wherever?
Unfortunately, keyword.
To me, it feels like it falls loosely into the category of conduct unbecoming of your position. And most NFL players have that, though it's never enforced. Coaches have it, GMs have it, they all have this in their contracts. Basically, don't do anything that's going to embarrass the organization or show the organization in a bad
Conduct
light.
detrimental.
Yeah. So I don't know if I don't know. I would be highly, highly shocked if the Patriots did anything to punish Mike Vrabel. Now,
I don't think they will.
He's going to get his punishment at home from his wife. That's where his punishment's going to come from.
I mean, not to take this down an entirely different road and conversation, but should it? I mean, should she even give him punishment? Should she even?
She should divorce him.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I mean,
it's tough.
yeah.
It's tough. And again, now we're getting into Dr. Phil conversations, right? But it is very tough to be the head coach of the New England Patriots. And Diana, again, she had one of the best jobs in America.
Right.
I mean, she had a great access. I mean, she was respected. She was good at what she did, and she was she's very well known, very well respected. So it is an unfortunate situation. I think it's a good reminder, though, Diesel, that regardless of what your job status is, you still have to
be a good person.
You still have to be a good person and do the right thing, right?
It is proof. I mean, the love and lust and wanting what you can't have and all that is, that's the basis of a large majority of art from the last, a couple thousand years of human history. It is a huge part of our psyche, and neither one of these rank among the first when it comes to people who have thrown away a great opportunity or thrown away potentially a good marriage for a fling, for a little something on the side. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for both of them. And I don't know. You're right. Diana Russini will eventually, I think she'll probably show up on one of those opinion type shows where she doesn't really have to go out and do the research herself. She just gets fed this information because, I mean, let's
Audacy.
be real. She is a we're hiring Diana if you're interested. Cole's single, by the way.
Yeah.
No,
she not her type.
Right.
She likes the rings.
She'll be able to get on somewhere just because she's got a lot of personality, and that'll get her on a daytime talk show kind of opportunity. But I think her days as somebody with direct access to players and coaches and GMs probably done, at least for a very long time.
I think so. It is a good wake up call, a good reminder. Unfortunately, it had to end. I didn't think she was going to stay with the Athletic, but it's just a good reminder out there. Like you said, be a good person, do the right thing. We've all made mistakes. Nobody's above making mistakes. But it just goes to show it doesn't matter your job status or how much money you make. It's still a thing people battle with.
According to Google AI, Mike Vrabel's net worth is somewhere between $15 and $20 million.
Yeah. Played long time, coached.
The wife's I'd hire a really good divorce lawyer. And she might be walking away with $10 million.
Is there a prenup anywhere in there? Did you sign it?
I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But
messy.
Tonight, let's get back to the story. Tonight, the Hornets are in the play-in tournament, the 9-10 matchup between the Hornets and the Heat. Here's how this play-in works. It is single elimination. They beat the Heat tonight. They will face the loser of the 7-8 matchup, and then the winner of that game will face the winner of the 7-8 matchup. So they got some work to do. They got to win 3 straight to get into the NBA tournament playoffs.
Start Saturday, by the way.
For real.
Yeah.
But they got some work to do. Obviously, this lineup for the Miami Heat, a little bit older. Bam Adebayo, he's been around for quite a long time. Tyler Hero, he's been around for a long time. They got some dudes, though, and their type of basketball, their brand of basketball, half-court sets, use their experience to beat you. And the Miami Heat, they won 43 games this year. So it certainly helped them some, but they've got to face a team in the Charlotte Hornets that want to move the ball, that want to kick, that want to create in space. They want to get they want to get Con Knippel open. They want to get LaMelo Ball open, and they've got a bunch of dudes on this team that can score. So the Heat are going to have their hands full tonight. As of right now, the ESPN matchup predictor saying Charlotte has a 73.5% chance to win. They are favored by 6.5. This is fascinating, Cole, because when I just looked at this not 10 minutes ago, Charlotte was favored by 5.5.
Now it's back to 5.
And it's been updated. Let's see. I'm on the ESPN website right now, and it's saying 6.5.
The one I'm looking at says 5.5, which is intriguing because there's been a lot of line movement, and it's been back and forth between 5.5, 6.5. I'm just looking at the NBA scorecard showing Charlotte 5.5. I noticed earlier today it was at 6.5 in another place I looked. 5.5, 6.5, regardless, feels like a lot. It's going to be a good matchup, I believe. You mentioned
6.5 at 5.5 at home.
Yeah,
I
still would probably lean toward Heat in the points. That's a lot of points in a play-in, playoff type game for a team in Charlotte who hadn't been in this situation for a long time.
True.
And it's fascinating to think about Charlotte at home tonight in a play-in game, favored by 6.5, 5.5 points. It feels wild to say because they just haven't been in this position. Now, to your point, the Heat, they finished 10th in the East. They're a okay team. They're not great. You look at what they did in the past 15 games. They were 5-10 in their last 15, so very inconsistent. However, they are coming off of a 143-117 blowout win, so they do have a little bit of momentum. There's not a lot of separation, obviously, between the 9 and the 10. So it is interesting how this game will match up in terms of the matchups you'll see on the floor tonight. But you look at the Hornets, what gives you hope is late in the season, they've had a top 10 offense. And in fact, if you go back and look at the numbers since January 1st, Diesel, since the first of the year, this Hornets team has been top 10, top 5, and number 1 in a lot of NBA categories, especially some advanced metrics. It's been a very different team since the beginning of the year, and I think that will give Charlotte a very good chance tonight. I just think ultimately, does the experience factor come in? You said it, Tyler Hero's been around the block.
Young team for the
Hornets.
Hornets.
A young Charlotte team.
With the moment maybe feel a little bit big for them. Con Knippel down the stretch has kind of slumped just a little bit. But, hey, the good thing about the Hornets is they've got a bunch of different dudes that can score. LaMelo Ball can score in bunches. Brandon Miller can score in bunches. Con Knippel can score in bunches. So, if they are really good at spreading the ball around, if multiple of these guys are hitting at a good, efficient clip, they could walk away from the Heat in this game. But it's going to be tough to do. The Heat really are going to want to get that ball down inside with Bam Adebayo, and it's not really the Charlotte Hornets' strong suit is defending down low. Bam's a big dude. He can throw his weight around. He's a really good player. They got to be able to hold Bam down, and they got to get shooting from the perimeter going.
It's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a good game. Nick in Brevard wants to weigh in, 844-326-3663. What's up, Nick?
Hey, guys. Yeah, I agree with you. Take the points with Miami, but I think Charlotte, they could run away with this thing. They have just been playing out of their minds. I think, you look there from like January 1st, they're like a top 5 team in net rating.
Yeah.
And, it feels to me like they're on the up and up, and Miami's kind of downtrending.
It does feel that way. There's no doubt about that. And I completely agree with you that it feels like Charlotte should win tonight. Are you a Hornets fan, Nick?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. I agree with you. They could. Diesel just said it as well. They could walk away with it, but feeling doesn't always turn out to be reality, right? I feel like we all feel like Charlotte's the better team. That you said it, the more up and up team. But does that experience matter in your opinion?
Honestly though, Miami. I guess Tyler Hero and Bam and a couple of these other guys. They've been in play-ins, but I don't know. Like Con Knippel just played in the Final Four last year. Brandon Miller played in the Final Four. Yeah. That's
true.
LaMelo, I guess.
It feels like two franchises on different trajectories, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that I don't know. They Miami. They just feel too up and down. And, of course, they play with such intense tempo that, if they just start drilling threes, they can beat anybody. But I just feel like the Charlotte team's more complete.
I agree with you. It just scares me. We don't know what we don't know. Charlotte in the postseason, it just makes you a little worried because you hadn't seen it yet, right?
Oh, yeah. I remember the last time they were on this kind of run, and they got bounced in the first round 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one thing that does make me nervous, though, Nick, is that these Heat, when they're hot, they can put up 140, 150 a night. Now, granted, 2 of those times in the last 5 games, they put up that kind of scoring. It was against Washington, and the Wizards, they stink. But they did it against the Hawks also, a team that's in the NBA playoffs. The Charlotte Hornets, they're sitting in that 110, 115, 120 range. I mean, they're going to have to figure out a way to play good defense tonight, or it could go the wrong way for the Hornets. And maybe it would feel like a little bit of this momentum was squandered if they got into the play-in and were bounced on the first game.
Now, tell me this. I haven't looked. I've been kind of busy. Is it in Charlotte? Or
yeah,
is
it
I
is.
know
yes.
home field. Okay. I know home court isn't, in a one-game scenario isn't everything.
Still, but it's going to be nuts in there tonight.
Rim,
Yeah.
Yeah, and everybody's going to be crazy, yeah.
Think about it. I mean, it's the first time in a long time you've had a home playoff game. It is a playoff game. That's what it is.
Hornets are 21-20 at home this season. The Heat are 17-24 on the road. They're not a great road team.
I love it.
No, I'm with you. I'm rooting for Charlotte.
Yes,
definitely.
sir. Nick, appreciate the phone call, man.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Call back soon.
Nick in Brevard. I think he's right. Home court does matter. And again, like this is a franchise. The same thing with the Panthers. We talk about it all the time. You go back and remember this year, that playoff game in Charlotte, that environment that Bank of America had. It was a kind of a semi-night game. You remember it started like, 4:25? Mm-hmm. So it got dark. I don't know that it's going to be that tonight, but I think like the city loves sports. The city of Charlotte loves sports, and they love basketball. And if they give the city something to cheer about, I think it could be fun tonight.
I mean, I hope that Charlotte has been sitting there as a sleeping giant for a long, long time. And if the Panthers can all of a sudden show quality and put it together a couple of years in a row, if the Hornets can put it together a couple of years in a row, I mean, that's obviously great for us because we're adjacent to Charlotte and they're the local sports teams for our pro teams. I mean, it would be palpable to feel that in the city of Charlotte. If they can somehow find a way to win this game or advance into the NBA playoffs, man, come on. Charlotte is waiting for this.
So who wins?
I think Charlotte wins. I think they win. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I would love to see a dominant win, and now that would make you feel good. I think Charlotte wins it. I think they win it by – I think they could cover. I'll say Charlotte covers. Ooh. They win it by 6, 8, something like that.
I think they win. I think it's close. I do. I think it's close. Maybe I'm totally wrong. Like you and Nick said, they could walk away with it. But I think it's going to be a really good game. I do. Donovan Mitchell, you just hope they don't get hot. Like Hero and Mitchell and Bam, like they have the ability to get hot. They're really good players. To y'all's point, though, they've been very inconsistent this season. So it'll be interesting to see where they are mindset-wise tonight coming into this one. I just think ultimately, I think Charlotte's ready for the moment tonight. And I like the Hornets to win. I'll go by 4.
Also, the Hornets are on the plus side of 500 in one possession games. So
that's big.
They are good enough. They're better more often than not.
If it comes down to a one possession game, that'll be nerve-wracking.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be, and the Hornets with a chance to be in the real. This is a playoff game to me. I know it's not technically the playoffs, but
it is treated as such.
It is a playoff game, man. You lose, you go home. Are you kidding me? It's gonna be a lot of fun, though. Going to be a lot of fun. Hey, for one more time this winter spring season that we're in, Diesel, let's talk to Rocco Miller. Rocco has been kind enough to join us every Tuesday at this time to talk college hoops during the entirety of college basketball season. For one last time before we head toward the summer months, we're joined by Rocco Miller, Bracketeer.org, next.
Upstate.
Well, it's time to talk to Rocco Miller. Rocco's been kind enough to join us during college basketball season on Tuesdays at this very time, and we're joined by him one more time this season to put a bow on everything that's happened during the 2025-2026 college basketball season. Rocco, as always, appreciate your time. Now that the dust has settled, what's been the number one storyline on your mind since the conclusion of the NBA season or the NCAA season and the men's national championship? What is buzzing in Rocco's mind?
Well, it's clearly the transfer portal. I mean, it opened the very same day, basically, like midnight Eastern on the 7th, I believe, technically, and it's just been crazy every day trying to keep up. You know, like I told you guys before, I'm locked in on non-conference scheduling, which is still second fiddle with almost every program right now as all of these scholarships get filled up and figured out. But I think it's also hand in hand with the national championship and the way that the sport played out this year, whether you look at Michigan and the way they were able to dominate with their size and a really good point guard and good glue guys in between, and the way Illinois built their team and the way Arizona built their team. Now you're starting to see a lot of teams attempt to do similar things. Whether they can do it at that level or not remains to be seen. You know, I'm just looking at some of these guys that Kansas State, who has a brand new head coach, and Casey Alexander, they just, I think, grabbed 3 new guys today in the portal. 2 of them are over 7 foot. They've never proven anything, but just to try to contend with the top of the Big 12, the top of the SEC, and the top of the Big 10, you have to have some size to match up, and you're going to start to see everybody do their best to mold those types of rosters, even if they have less money. And it's fascinating to me.
Talking to Rocco Miller, bracketeer.org. Yeah, it looks like that's going to be the template, I guess. Get big, get like Michigan was last year. Out of the gate, Michael Malone adds a 6'9" guard transfer from Virginia Tech. Nicholas Avdalas loses Caleb Wilson to the draft. It feels like that was inevitable. Was there any world in which Michael Malone could have convinced Caleb to stay, or was his entry into the draft a foregone conclusion?
Yeah, definitely a foregone conclusion there. Just once you're a lottery pick level, the money is too good for almost any case to stay and take a risk of playing college basketball. Those are guaranteed contracts at the lottery level. So even the AJ Dabances, you know, AJ rumored to make as many dollars as $8 million last year. It still wouldn't make sense for a guy like that to come back. Certainly the case with Keaton Wagler, who of course is declared, and a few others in that group who, you know, will be in that top crop, whether it's Kingston Flemings or, you know, a bunch of those elite freshmen that we saw all year, should fill up the most of the top 10, if not the entire top 10. Now, with all that being said, I think the top priority for North Carolina is to keep Visar, where, you know, of course, you know, Visar hails from the same part of Europe as Jokic did, who played for Malone, you know, and won an NBA title 3 or 4 years ago. And so there's some hope there in North Carolina circles. They can start to create a similar system and cohesion and get some excitement going that way. Obviously, they picked up a couple guys thus far, but we still have, you know, no total picture yet of what this is going to be. But Visar has to be the priority for Coach Malone.
You know, it's interesting. He will be judged very quickly, Rocco, in Chapel Hill. When do you think is a fair timeline, a fair estimation for us to actually judge what this team looks like before the season starts next year?
Well, before the season starts, you can judge them all you want. I think when it's fair to start judging is the results. And I think in this era, you know, everything's year to year, right? You see one team get scrapped immediately at every level. We're seeing teams having to rebuild from absolute scratch from the top of those sport at the Big 10, SEC, ACC, Big 12, down to, of course, the mid-levels and the low levels. They unfortunately have no choice but to start over once their top 6 or so guys hit the portal and they send the other 6 guys somewhere else. So it's just the nature of the beast. But I think based on that, we have no repercussions as analysts and as media members to judge the book by the cover for that 1 year, because it really is a 6-month experiment. And then you either got to scrap it, or you got to fire your coach, or you got to adjust. And if you hit it right, then you got a chance to win in year 1. So there's really no more difference of you got to give them a year or two to build the program up. It's win or go home, especially when they're unlocking real money for you to spend right now. And that's part of why I think the Malone angle is in play. This is a professional sport at the North Carolina level. Let's not kid ourselves. And so they deserve every bit of praise that they earn and every bit of criticism that might be warranted as well.
Rocco, can we get your take on our local product here, Cooper Bowser from Furman, who's headed to Arkansas to play for John Calipari? Man, that is one heck of an endorsement for his skill set, even though he's still a young player. Your thoughts on how Cooper might be able to project under Coach Cal?
Well, I think he's extremely talented. It'll be interesting to see how he fits in. If it's Arkansas, we've seen under Calipari, he's going to get about 8 to 10 guys in the rotation. He's obviously going to be in that rotation. Now, how big of a role he plays will remain to be seen, but obviously he's an incredibly efficient player. He's the 23rd most efficient player in America this last year, according to Ken Palm data. 132.8 O rating is extremely good. So, of course, he was not only on Arkansas's radar, he was on a lot of Power 5 radars. Arkansas, of course, has some of the deepest pockets in the sport behind Tyson's Chicken. You'll probably see a Tyson's Chicken logo on his uniform next year. And not only that, but he was like 5th best in America inside the arc, just a really clean finisher, really good decision maker, shooting 76% from 2 this year. I mean, that's pretty ridiculous. And at 6'11", 215, his game should translate to the SEC. He's going to have to get tougher. He's going to have to get a little bit wider if he can. I know his hips are a little bit narrow, probably for Power 4, but they'll have, 5-6 months of summer workouts to try to get him thick. We'll see how much weight he can put on.
Rocco, keeping it local, Notre Dame transfer shooting guard Cole Serta has signed with Clemson. For Clemson fans in the upstate listening this afternoon, what do you know about Cole and what he brings to Brad Burnell's squad?
Yeah, well, Cole's another guy who can really shoot the ball. He was 37% from 3 on a ton of attempts. So, a lot of guys, if they shoot 40% on 100 or 150 attempts, you're feeling pretty good. Well, this guy shot 221 attempts on a team that had a bad year. So of course he didn't have as clean a looks. If Clemson, continues to run, very methodical, efficient offense, and he's their key sharpshooter, I could see him getting that number back up to the 40% level. He's an unbelievable free throw shooter, as you guys have seen playing against him, 89% from the foul line. Again, another very efficient guy. And he's there to serve a purpose, to be that sharpshooter, that maybe the forgotten man in certain matchups, and a really important piece that you can build around. You have to have 1 or 2 guys like that in your arsenal to be a offense that is threatening. And of course, Clemson with 3 or 4 new staff members next year, they're going to revamp all that stuff. So I think Serta is a really important piece to build around on how they're going to execute and space the floor. Floor spacing is everything with efficient offenses in today's college basketball world.
Rocco, you're a gentleman of a certain age. I'm sure you know the Nelly song "Ride with Me," right? You know that song?
I do. I do. I'm very familiar.
Okay. Yes. Is there a transfer that stands out to you because it makes you shake your head and say, why did he choose to go there? And the answer is, well, it must be the money.
Oh man, I think anybody that's a great question. The Louisville thing, right? They just got a package deal with Flory Badunga and Jackson Shellstad. I thought Shellstad was a perfect fit for Arizona. Those of us in the West thought he was going to Arizona or Gonzaga for sure. And either way, he's in the same system, right? Tommy Lloyd still runs that rim-to-rim system, and it was beautiful for most of the year until they played Michigan in the Final Four. And of course, even at Gonzaga, he would thrive in that system. Now, him and Badunga end up packaging together with the same agent, and Louisville's just obviously overwhelming with the offer to those two. And we'll see. Obviously, Louisville runs a fun offense with good floor spacing. Ran into a lot of trouble this year when Miko Brown was not available, and they really just had an interesting ceiling where they went, I think, 0-7. During the regular season against teams in the top 25 of the net, and they just couldn't break that glass ceiling. So Louisville, of course, being as crazy as they are from a fan base perspective, continue to throw more money at the problem. And now they have probably 2 of the best portal players. But I don't think Badunga leaving Kansas, first of all, shocks me because I thought he was a fan favorite. He was an electrifier at Allen Fieldhouse. And like I told you already, Shellstad had no forecast of him leaving the West Coast. So to get both of those guys is a massive shakeup. And if it hits right, you have to look at them as a possible Final Four contender. And the expectations in Louisville just went up because of this.
How big is that? I mean, you look at a coach who we're very familiar with, Rocco, from spending some time in South Carolina. Does Louisville, and I think it'll be Pat's third season this coming season, correct me if I'm wrong there. I mean, are we looking at a potential contender like to cut the nets with Pat Kelsey?
We got to see what the full roster looks like. But with those two guys, I mean, are you kidding me? They kind of have to be, right? And they had a great roster in the portal last year. And based on really no expectations the first year, they had a great roster the first year. So he's done a terrific job of getting to the tournament both years. This year held on and beat South Florida in the first round. So he got it a tad bit further to get to the second round. Now, it's definitely got to get to at least the second weekend. But this team is shaping up. We'll see what else they can do and how much money they have left. This team is shaping up to be a big-time top 10 type team with just those two pieces alone.
Rocco, I didn't expect to ask you any questions really about mid-2000s hip-hop, but here we are, question number 2. The weird story of J. Cole, the rapper who had one game playing professional basketball in China, and he's done because his visa got denied. Do you have a scouting report on J. Cole? Do you know if he has any eligibility left in college basketball?
I really don't. That could be problematic, though, depending on the institution. You got to be able to pass the clearinghouse, and that could be tough. If he tries to go to somewhere like Stanford or UCLA, I can promise you he's in deep trouble, or even Vanderbilt. But maybe he could get in at like a, IU Indy or somewhere, somewhere like a Mississippi Valley State could use him.
That's a great answer. Rocco Miller joining us right here on the Fan Upstate. The one team, Rocco, that you have thought to yourself in the last week and a half, they haven't done enough or maybe as much as I expected them to in free agency, I guess we can call it, the portal. Who's that one team?
Well, I'm trying to stay patient because I know this is a long process, and it really at the end doesn't matter what order it comes in. But I'll just give you a conference, like out here in the West Coast Conference, it's been a little bit appalling. St. Mary's has a new coach. I don't think they brought in one new player. San Francisco got totally gutted. They haven't added a new player. Santa Clara, we expected to have a lot of money, still hasn't added a new player. Now, again, this could all come together, but those three just directly in my area, very shocking. The one team with a new coach is San Diego, who hasn't done anything in a long time, over a decade. And they've got like 4 or 5 really impressive pieces, but the rest of the league is way behind. And you just wonder, with Gonzaga leaving the WCC, how much does that hurt, getting kids to commit? So far, it's looked like a big problem, but we'll see if it lasts that long term. I think on the higher level, still waiting to see what Florida State's going to do. That's a team that I was so high on at the end of the year. Now, it doesn't look like they've lost too much yet, but I would really love to see that team add like a really key piece or two, because their system and their style and the way they figured out how to defend the last 2 months, and since they're right there in your conference, the ACC, I would love to see them add a piece or two, but just haven't seen anything quite yet from the Seminoles.
At Rocco Miller 8 on Twitter is where you should find him, and you should give him a follow. You alluded to this at the beginning, mentioned it, I think, a week ago, that you're involved in some of the consulting for scheduling. Can you give us any more about, how that process, you said it's kind of on the back burners at the moment. When will that process really kickstart? And if you're consulting a team that needs a game and they potentially have an opportunity to play maybe a little bit of a scary mid-major, how would you consult them how to handle that?
Well, I always encourage tough games because I think it makes you tougher as the season goes on. Now, do people listen to me always? Absolutely not. I think a lot of coaches take scheduling as a risk-adverse operation. Luckily for us, we still have Tom Izzo. We still have Bill Self. We still have Mark Pugh and a bunch of those types of old school guys that know that you'll get tougher with better schedules, so they'll always schedule tough. I've been fortunate to know Todd Golden a long time. Florida will always play 6 or 7 tough games. But the guys like in the middle of those leagues, they're scared to death to play tough mid-majors because they don't want to take an L, and they don't see it as a lot to gain if they win. But I'm involved from, going back about 10 years ago to try to make all those opportunities a reality. Every once in a while, things hit the way I want them to. Most of the time, I'm just as frustrated as you guys. But I'll tell you what, like once these scholarships fill up, and certain places you're seeing, them fill up pretty quick. I think Kansas State, for example, I mentioned them earlier. They've already filled 7 or 8 slots. So as soon as a roster fills up, my phone starts blowing up off the hook. Their full focus will turn to scheduling, and some of the teams will drag their feet for a long time. The last 2 years I've been working on it into September, even for a couple of teams into October. I remember talking to South Alabama, Miami, Ohio, and a couple New Mexico State and some teams like that last October, and it's just crazy that we're like into week 5 of college football, and I'm still working on the next college basketball schedule. But that's just how much poker is played in scheduling and how scared teams are to kind of play each other. It's really hard to get them to agree. So I get myself in the middle of all those discussions and see what I can do. I have a good amount of success stories, but I definitely have a lot more failure than success.
Rocco, my last question for you. Has Lamont Paris done enough to excite the fan base for next season at South Carolina? A guy who was on a very, very hot seat for the majority of this past season. A few acquisitions, obviously lost some guys to the portal and then made an assistant coaching hire as well. Do you think that'll be enough to excite the fan base?
Well, Corey Mincy was one of my favorite players in the portal out of George Mason. Certainly maybe my favorite player out of the Atlantic 10. So for that to be their cornerstone so far, I think that's a good start, but we just don't know what the final picture is going to look like. There's been, rumblings that they have up to $12 million to put into this roster. And if that's true, which I haven't been able to validate, but if that's true, that should at least put them in the middle of the pack for SEC spending, which would give him a fair shake to get into the tournament. You have to figure in a 16-team SEC, if you're between 7th and 10th in spending, the top 10 teams in that league are going to make the tournament, right? We saw 11 get in this year and 14 the year before. So that should give him enough money to compete. Now it's up to them to do their evaluations appropriately and go out there and fight and get the wins. But if all that's true, I think it would be fair to call this his contract year, make or break year. And I hope it is true, because I've always liked Coach Paris. He's done a great job at Chattanooga. Obviously, he had that one really good year with South Carolina, and they've been clearly behind the 8 ball financially in men's basketball specifically. It's a women's basketball school at this point. And that, I think that's hurt them. They've really been drawing debt a little bit these last 2 years. So I'd love to see that, especially for him, give him a fair opportunity. And let's just hope all that hearsay stuff is true.
Rocco, we appreciate your time all season long. It's always great to get you on a week in, week out basis. And obviously we want you to have a phenomenal, restful summer. Enjoy yourself, but we'll get you right back on here next season.
Yeah, looking forward to it, guys. It's been a pleasure being
Thanks,
on
Rocco.
with you each week, and had a lot of fun with you guys. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it,
man.
Thank
Good
you, sir.
stuff. Really good stuff. I'll tell you this. I've said it a million times. That guy is so plugged in. I mean, he can tell you coaches and players on a Santa Clara roster, a South Carolina roster, a Syracuse roster, a Furman roster. I'm telling you, there's a lot of John Rothsteins out there. There's only one Rocco Miller.
Yeah.
That guy's fan-freaking-tastic, and for him to join us every week, it was a lot of fun.
Well, that job has, obviously gotten infinitely harder with the transfer portal and these guys going all over the place. Heck, he could probably tell you the 5 schools that Alex Wilkins is really trying to narrow it down to right now. And Alex Wilkins still undecided as to where he's going to go, but that's big. Cooper Bowser going to be going to Arkansas to play under Cal. Like, he's still a young guy. And like he said, he needs to put on some size to play in the SEC. He has a couple years, and if he stays with Cal and Arkansas, he's going to be a completely different looking player by the time he leaves.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Good for him. Hate it for Bob Ritchie. Hate it for us and Furman, but good for him. Diesel, there is a statement from Diana Rossini. I'm sure we'll get to that later. It is interesting, maybe in the 5 o'clock segment. I know we've got to get the Daily Wires, but Diana Rossini has put out a statement, and you're not going to like what she said, by the way.
Does it say, I am a filthy cheater?
No. Complete opposite, actually.
Oh.
The media has painted me into a bad light.
Oh, I'm not a bad person. Y'all are the bad
That's
people.
correct.
Okay, we'll get into that later on. Our Daily Wires, though, coming up next.
Upstate.
You know, they always ask the question, are you sorry or are you sorry you got caught, right? And many, many people have made mistakes, Diesel, over the years, including myself, and we've all been sorry that we ultimately did what it was to make that mistake. However, it doesn't look like we're getting any of that from Diana Rossini and her statement that she just released as she has submitted her letter of resignation to The Athletic. And boy, oh boy, do you see the word sorry or mistake in there anywhere?
Not once.
Oh my gosh. If you have not, Tolos, seen this yet, I just retweeted it a few minutes ago at the Cole Bryson. Diesel, it is pretty pathetic to be quite frank. She's blaming the media for gaslighting and painting her into a bad corner.
Yeah, she basically says that I have always conducted myself above board, and this is all just careless speculation. Nobody's going through the proper journalistic process to find out if this is true. This is salacious, and I have no interest in defending myself against this, so I quit.
I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. I mean, I get that. Look, we should have already known that she was a piece of work because of the way she talked about her husband in those videos we talked about. So we shouldn't be surprised. It's on us for being surprised about this. But my gosh, are you telling me that she not one time in that letter said, hey, you know what? Those pictures that I was in with Mike Vrabel, whether or not we did anything wrong, Diesel, guess what? Maybe they didn't do anything wrong. But you know what? They did by putting themselves in that position.
Maybe the worst they did was hold hands. Maybe
Wasn't there a photo of them holding hands?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I assume there was, but
it's not her fault.
There was a photographer with a long lens out in the desert disguised as a cactus taking pictures of them. Look, there's no, I'm sorry to my husband for doing this to him, for getting cozy with Mike Vrabel. I don't know about you, Cole, but every woman that I've ever dated, and certainly my wife that I'm married to, not one of them would look at a photo of me cuddling up with Diana Rossini or a fellow sports media member like that and say, oh, it's okay. I'm sure everything is above board. Not one.
Yeah.
So she never says, I'm sorry to my husband for bringing him into this. I'm sorry for the years of verbal abuse that I hurled at him on live TV. No, I have work to do on myself. Just accuse the media. They're the ones who are making this stuff up. Shirk responsibility. Turn off your comments, by the way, when you post this and wither off into the nothingness, Diana Rossini.
And you know what? We've all had different jobs in our life, high position, low position, however you want to quantify it. But the reality is when you're in a job like that, you have to be held to higher expectations, and you learn the hard way. It happens. Unfortunately, I'm not mad at Diana Rossini for making that mistake.
Right.
Hopefully it was her first time. I'm mad at Diana Rossini for not just saying, you know what? I messed up.
Right.
I messed up. I messed up. She didn't say that.
If Mike Vrabel is the guy that you want, Diana, then you need to have a conversation with your husband and divorce him.
Yeah.
And then Mike needs to have a conversation with his wife
and kids
and divorce his wife. And then you two can be together if that's what you really want.
Yeah.
Or was it just, a sweaty, steamy fling out in the Arizona desert?
It's pretty bad. Pretty bad on her part. Diesel, we've got to get to our daily wires. The phone lines will be open as well in the very next segment. Hour number 3 starts next. Well, Diesel, I apologize. You, me, we dance, we tiptoe.
You think we've done this before?
Let's both do it at the same time. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. It's time for our daily.
Now we messed it all up.
You don't want to sound, if we can get the exact words, step for step, reading the same sheet of music. It's my bad. The Daily Wire was supposed to be last. Ran out of time. Diana released her statement. We had to react to that. So now we buzz for the Daily Wires.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Let me get this thing right here. Hold on. Before you start,
he double messed me up because we're not listening to the right.
I know. Here we go. Here we go. There you go, Diesel.
We keep saying that one of these days we'll get a sound effect for the buzz.
No,
but not today.
This is better.
It will not be this day, Cole. These are our Daily Wires. It's do or die time for the Charlotte Hornets. They're going to host the Miami Heat tonight in the NBA play-in tournament, 7:30 p.m. You'll be able to watch it on Prime if you have a Prime membership.
Prime.
Hornets favored by
Amazon.
6.5 against the Heat at home. The atmosphere there is going to be crazy.
It is going to be. I would love to be there. I really would. I didn't make a game this year. I told myself I wanted to. Let me ask you this, though. Do you watch more shows/events on Prime, or do you order more items through Prime?
Way more ordering on Prime.
Do you really?
I have a fair amount of discipline. Like most of the stuff that I buy on Prime, it's like I don't need it now. So like I'll wait until payday 2 weeks from now to order it. My wife just constantly, it's like every single day. Got
Prime this, Prime that.
A little bit of a problem.
Hope she's not listening.
I know. But no, I mean, I do like that it's going to be on somewhere I can watch it instead of hidden behind a paywall somewhere.
On Prime.
Or at least a paywall that I don't already pay for.
Yeah.
Because I've already paid for enough paywalls. I don't need another one to get over. But
I'm good with it. 7:30, right?
7:30.
There we go.
I just hope that they don't put that stupid blue court on the, what do you even call it? Like you call it a screen because they're kind of playing on a big old TV screen.
No,
I hate it. I think it's horrible to look at. The colored courts. I don't like it. Just give me old fashioned.
Old-fashioned hardwood.
Why not do the little honeycomb thing, the little hornet nest thing?
Yeah.
I like it. Old school. Aaron Bummer got the loss for the Braves last night after giving up 4 hits and 3 earned runs, including a home run, in the 10-4 home loss to the Marlins. Grant Holmes pitched 4. He gave up 3 earned runs, so he doesn't really get off the hook here, but he doesn't have to wear the L. Atlanta hosts the Marlins again tonight at 7:15. A loss would end the Braves still unbeaten in a series streak.
Well, the reality of it is you can afford to lose.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
No, right.
But you set yourself up to where you can afford to lose.
You're going to lose a series.
You're going to lose.
Eventually.
It's going to happen, but I don't want it to be tonight. I don't want it to be tonight. It was a bad night last night.
Especially to the Marlins. They suck.
Yeah, just for whatever reason last night couldn't get things going. So let's get and I think they will. You know what I've liked about the Braves this year? When they have a bad loss, they thus far a very small sample size Diesel. They've been able to bounce back. You go back two games ago, they lost, and then they came back and bounced back Sunday to get the series win. So they play with a little bit of urgency, which I like. So let's go get tonight a little urgency. You said Reynaldo Lopez, right? He's 1-0. Reynaldo's 1-0 in the season. I like he has, by the way, let's point out he has a 1.15 ERA.
Woo, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So yeah,
good.
let's split. Let's at least go 1-for-1 right here and get the win tonight, Braves.
Tolos, what are you going to be watching tonight? Are you going to be watching Braves Marlins in an early season game at 7:15 first pitch, or are you going to be watching Hornets Heat in the NBA play-in game?
I've got my
7:30.
Work computer on an HDMI cable with a site that's third party.
Oh, okay.
And
it's one way of putting it.
I use that third-party site to watch the Braves.
Yeah, okay.
And that's how I watch.
I thought you could watch it through your YouTube TV now.
Well, they have not. No, Braves Vision has not agreed with the YouTube TV yet. So Braves Vision they've agreed with Charter Spectrum.
Okay.
I think DirecTV as well. If not mistaken, Tolo's out there. Correct me.
I don't have either one of those, so I can't watch it at all.
I know. We have it here. We have the Braves Vision here in the studio. But I saw something where it looks like eventually they're going to get a deal with YouTube TV, and I think they kind of have to. like YouTube TV's, I don't know if it's big as Spectrum now, but it's so big that you kind of have to, and maybe, hopefully soon.
And how is it more expensive than your Spectrum? Do you regret cutting the cord?
YouTube?
Yeah, YouTube
No, I don't
TV.
regret it. I don't regret it. I don't. Now I still have Spectrum Internet, so I pay $50 a month for Internet
they're still
plus
gonna
the
get
YouTube.
your money somehow.
Yeah, they do. That's right.
Sad. Justin Rose has reportedly withdrawn his name from this coming weekend's RBC Heritage Signature event. It's going to be played right down the road in Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Yeah.
He's too sad, Cole. After his heartbreaking finish at the Masters, it's a signature event, so it's not a full field. He will be replaced by Michael Thorbjornsson.
Who?
Thorbjornsson.
Who?
That's like the most Viking sounding name I've ever heard.
I've never heard the name before. And
Yeah.
again, maybe
Thor,
I should have.
You mean Thor, like the god of thunder? Bjorn, that's a common Swedish name. Thorbjornsson.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't blame the guy. I don't blame him.
Why? Come on.
Because
memory of a goldfish.
well, that's true, but at the same time, like the way I look at it is, if you're Justin Rose, you've won enough of these tournaments. What are you gaining? I can't imagine what that guy mentally is going through, where he is, because let's remember he's older. I don't know where he is in his career.
Scotty going to play in the RBC?
I have not seen.
There's a $20 million pot, by the way. There's a lot of money.
I think they fired the cannons today.
There's a lot of money.
Yeah, today's Tuesday, right?
On the line here. I mean, I would think I would want to get back out there and play, even if I'm not going to play well in this thing, because I wouldn't want to be sitting there stewing over it for 2 weeks.
Yeah, maybe I bet he's going to play. I just don't think he's going to play elsewhere. Maybe you think
maybe
he's going to fly back to
take
Augusta.
Some time out. Yeah, maybe. Well, he can't get on the course because he's not a previous winner, and I don't know if there's a member out there that would take
Scotty's
him out.
playing, by the way. He's the favorite, odds-on favorite, plus 390. Xander, second, plus 1,300. Cam Young, fourth, plus 1,600. Also, Tommy Fleetwood.
I could see it if Justin had lost in a playoff again, right? 2 years in a row losing in a playoff, I would understand it. But come on, man, you didn't get it done down the back
He just played
stretch.
so bad down the back nine at nine. Just played so bad. Couple of and I think that I was talking to a buddy of mine last night, and I think he said it right. We had the conversation yesterday about golf being mentally taxing. I think this is the proof that
It's emotionally taxing.
It is.
For sure.
Think about it. And my buddy brought it up last night, Diesel. Think about it like this. Justin Rose in that back nine in Augusta. Justin Rose knows that back nine as well as anybody.
Sure.
He knows exactly where he needed to put that ball. He knows exactly where the pin is. And you saw Justin Rose fall apart on the second nine yesterday or Sunday. That's got to be that's got to be. Again, it just goes to show how tough golf is. Even when you think you know what you've got to do, it's still so difficult to do so.
He also won $1.080 million at the Masters for tying for third place. Maybe he's just taking the week off to count all that cash.
Yeah, I don't know what the taxes are in Georgia if they're too bad. So he should profit a cool what?
$750,000, maybe.
I was gonna say 700,000.
Yeah, something like that. So? He also got 313 FedEx points, by the way. Scotty got 500, Rory 750 for winning the event. Next up on our Daily Wires, if you missed it earlier talking to Rocco Miller, Caleb Wilson has officially announced that he will leave North Carolina after 1 year to enter the NBA draft. So he would rather play in the NBA than play for a former NBA coach.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me in just the world we live in with one and dones, I hate it. I mean, we've talked about it with Duke. I mean, the team up the road from Durham, from Chapel Hill, my gosh. I mean, think about what their team would have been this year. We talked about it a couple of weeks ago. If, Flag and Kniff, I mean, my God.
Would have been absurd.
It'd have been ridiculous.
Absurdly good.
And they'd have been really good. I mean, Rocco said Visar's got to be like the centerpiece, the focal point going into next year. Imagine if Malone had Visar and Wilson both to kind of play with and build around. It'd be a lot better. It's tough.
Yeah.
He said, though, that's modern day coaching. It is a year to year. It's different every year.
Yep. Malone, he added his first high-profile portal player, 6'9" guard Nicholas Avdalis from Greece. He averaged 12.1 points last night, 4.6 assists as a freshman last year at Virginia Tech. So he'll head to Chapel Hill and try to help out with Michael Malone's first season.
What was his name again?
Nicholas Avdalis.
I hadn't heard of him. He played for Virginia Tech?
Yeah, I played for Mike.
I didn't know that.
12 points a game.
No, I didn't know Mike's roster that well at Virginia Tech. But I'll tell you what, I am really fascinated by these European players doing so well. 12 points a game is pretty good. And Michael Malone getting them at North Carolina.
If he could turn him into a 16, 18 point a night kind of guy. I mean, not having watched any of Nicholas's ball handling skills, what kind of development he might need, he might need some work.
I don't think there's enough that's been said about how well the European players have translated into the college game in the last 4 to 5 years. I mean, they're taking the game over. They're taking the sport over. It's phenomenal.
We talked about this earlier. Last night's WNBA draft rounds 1, 2, and 3 went off without a hitch. UConn Huskies, they get the number 1 overall pick. To Dallas, guard Ozzie Fudd was the number 1 overall pick, 5'11" guard. She's going to Dallas. 4 UCLA Bruins went inside the top 10. Unbelievable night for UCLA. Flau'jae Johnson from LSU, she went number 8 to the Golden State Valkyries. South Carolina had 3 players drafted inside the top 20. Raven Johnson went number 10 to Indiana, so she'll be teamed up over there with Caitlin Clark. South Carolina's Medina Okot went 13. She's headed to Atlanta, so not a far trip for her. And Tanaya Latson, number 20 overall, is going to L.A.
It's interesting. I didn't know exactly how the chips would fall, but I was two players I was watching last night, and not to get into an entire conversation about the WNBA, but I was looking at AZ Fudd, and I was also looking at Betts. And Betts was like the player that I saw was just uber impressed with, Diesel. Yeah. And the size that Betts had, and we saw that game against South Carolina, right? How impactful she was for UCLA. I mean, my gosh. So, look, I know that the WNBA is not like the front of mind, but there were some really good players that were taken last night.
This is some sad news, Cole. Dick Vitale revealed a new cancer diagnosis in a statement yesterday after saying last week that the recent test results showed some abnormalities. A biopsy showed he has melanoma in his lung and liver cavity. He said, quote, "I've beaten melanoma. I've beaten lymphoma. I've beaten vocal cord cancer. I've beaten lymph node cancer. I'm 4 for 4, and I'm fully confident I'm going to make it 5 for 5.
I'll tell you what. Kudos to him. That's easier said than done.
Strong dude.
It's easier said. Dude. At his age, too. Yeah. I mean, it's not like he's a young guy battling it. That's easier said than done. And I hate it. But he's right. I mean, he's been victorious, and man, I hope he is this time, but I absolutely hate that.
I brought this up earlier during our interview with Rocco Miller. Just like that, 41-year-old rapper J. Cole's Chinese basketball career is over. If you blinked, you might have missed it.
What?
Cole?
Wait, what? This is real?
Yeah, issues with his visa. Yeah, he, I guess, didn't have all that squared away. He's played foreign basketball before. He played foreign basketball I think he was in Congo. He was in the Congo. He was in Africa somewhere.
Really?
He played a year of Canadian professional basketball, and he played 1 game of Chinese professional basketball for the Nanjing Monkey Kings.
Okay. Yeah. Okay is all I can say to that. I don't have the words.
I haven't watched any Chinese basketball before and never put that on my list of things to do for a day.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the level of competition is very good when a 41-year-old guy who started his career in music entertainment is good enough to make a team.
That's crazy. It's not real. That's not a real headline.
It is.
That is crazy.
Earlier today, On3 reported that Furman forward Cooper Bowser has committed to play for John Calipari and Arkansas. So good for him. I'm sure he'll get a good
I'll tell you what, man,
money.
that is good for him. Tyson Chicken's definitely going to hook him up, I'm sure. But isn't that just remarkable? I mean, you think about it. We talk about this a lot, and I think this needs to be repeated. If you're good, they're going to find you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if you're in a small school in Greenville, South Carolina. Think about that. If you're good enough to play, and yes, while we hate that the high school landscape is what it is, or not as many high school players, basketball, baseball, and football, these are being recruited because of the portal. It's easier to go get somebody out of the portal, a little bit older of a player, right? I guess the upside is the truth of the matter has become if you are good enough It doesn't matter if you're playing at a small little old Furman in Greenville.
Yeah.
Calipari can find you.
And
that's remarkable.
What's the pitch for Bob Ritchie going to change to? It used to be, come here, I'll give you a world-class education. Then it became, come here, we'll play in world-class facilities for a small school, and I can get you into the NCAA tournament. Now it's, come here, play for me for a year, and I'll get you into the SEC playing for John Calipari.
Well, I think it all depends, Diesel, on how good the player is.
True.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that has to be the pitch, right?
It depends. If the player's good enough to where they can go and be one and done and go to Arkansas or Arkansas caliber, yeah, that's the pitch. But if a player does value education, if there are any of those out there, I don't know if there's any out there or not. I mean, are there any kids that value education? Any athletes? It depends on who the player is, how good they are. I would imagine 1 or 2 or maybe 3.5 still care about education. And if they do, Bob's got a place for them. Great facilities you mentioned, and now you add that feather in your cap that, he just sent one of his best players to Arkansas. And by the way, Alex Wilkins, don't know yet. I mean, he might be going to I'm not saying he's going to Arkansas, but I'm saying he might be going somewhere big too. I think probably is going to.
Yeah, I know he's on a lot of big-time radars. Didn't have this one on my radar, Cole. Still no violations hurled at Ole Miss after their recruitment or over-recruitment or whatever you want to call it, tactics to get the Clemson player to transfer to Ole Miss. But the NCAA is now slapping Iowa with a penalty of 4 vacated victories from their 2023 season due to tampering. They say that Iowa engaged in impermissible recruitment of former Michigan quarterback Cade McNamara, ruling that they were too aggressive with their recruiting tactics.
Too aggressive? I mean, is that even a thing anymore?
It's that old ruling is LSU does something bad, so Southern Miss is going to get hammered for it. Ole Miss does something bad, so Iowa is going to get hammered for it. That's just how it goes, man.
Wow.
And last one for you. I don't know how to wrap my mind around this, but everybody talking about this seems to think it's bad, and it's not going to be good for us as consumers. Here's a little bit of sports business news for you. Private equity firm TPG has now acquired Learfield for $2 billion. Learfield, an absolutely massive company when it comes to their media rights. They had partnerships with over 1,200 schools. They generated $1.2 billion annually, and that will now be held by a private equity firm, which everybody talking about this seems to think that private equity making its way into college athletics is a net negative for the sport. So we'll just have to see how this plays out.
Also, reminder, in-state baseball, Clemson in action as well as South Carolina tonight. Diesel, Clemson looking to bounce back after that weekend loss where they lost 2 of 3 to North Carolina, right? They're looking to bounce back tonight, 6:05. They are up in Charlotte, Truist Field in the Queen City. You been to Truist Field before?
I've never been. It's
nice.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, it's nice.
From the photos. I mean, it's
a good bag drop.
It's what you want a Major League Baseball stadium to look like from the inside. I would love to be able to say they could just sort of add some extra seats and turn it into a MLB facility.
I don't think they have the support on the minor league baseball from what I've been told. Again, I don't know the exact. I just know a lot of people out there, and they've said it hadn't been the best.
Who are they affiliated with?
That's a good question. That'd be a quick Google. While you're doing that, the Gamecocks in action tonight. They are looking for their 19th win of the season. They are 18-19 on the season, and they were back in action after that weekend sweep over Mizzou. The Gamecocks tonight will host, beginning a 9-game homestand. They will host Davidson tonight at 6:30.
The Charlotte Knights are affiliated with the Chicago White Sox.
Okay.
Yeah.
There
so
you go.
it's a
sense.
bum organization.
Yeah, makes sense.
You get bum players coming through there. I mean, look, I wish that they would figure out, hey, let's make our affiliates somewhat close to our major league stadiums, right? I mean, like if the affiliates for the Braves, like single A was in Greenville,
and some of them
double A was in, what is it, Duluth, I think.
Yeah.
Triple A is in Charlotte. That would make a whole lot of sense. You can go see prospects play within like a 3 or 4 hour drive of your stadium.
Yeah, I think some of them are lucky enough, like Cobb County. I mean, not Cobb County. The Braves have one pretty close. The name's escaping me, but
isn't it Duluth?
Is it Duluth?
Maybe is it Macon?
Macon? One of those.
Yeah.
But it is tough. It is tough. Again, Clemson in action tonight. Gamecocks, listen to this, Diesel, beginning a 9-game homestand. 9 games at home. The Gamecocks have Davidson, Mississippi State this weekend, Presbyterian next Tuesday, Kentucky. 9 straight games at home for the Gamecocks. Let's see if they can go on a little bit of a run. The only ranked team they play in those 9 games is Mississippi State. They're 17 in the country. Again, the Gamecock schedule getting a lot easier, even though Mississippi State's still ranked. Let's see what they can do. They just won 3 in a row. That was their first series win in 51 weeks. Let's see what they can do if they can continue to stack some of these wins starting tonight at home again here in about an hour and a half as they host Davidson. So Clemson playing a team up in Charlotte, South Carolina playing a team up in Charlotte as well. Quick update for one more local team. Landon Powell's North Greenville Trailblazers currently trail Lincoln Memorial 5-2 in the top of the 5th inning. Lincoln Memorial is a very good team in Division II baseball. So a tough one right now for North Greenville. 5-2, Lincoln Memorial leads the Trailblazers and Landon Powell. That's a good team, though.
What if North Greenville ever played UAB in something and they were losing? The Trailblazers would be trailing the Blazers.
Oh, man, that'd be good. I like that. By the way, Corn Chip on the Joy Law Firm text line says the Braves AAA team is in Gwinnett County. I think it's technically got a Lawrenceville address. That's the area I grew up in. How about Corn Chip bringing some facts, baby?
I knew it was around there, but they moved around a couple different times over the years, so I never quite knew. Cole, when we come back, we need to bring this up to the show. We have a big-time anniversary, a milestone for Wire to Wire that's happening today, and it's worth bringing it up. It's worth thanking all of the Tolos who have made this possible over the last 2+ years of Wire to Wire. So we'll do a little bit of that. We'll pat ourselves on the back. We'll shake hands with all of our Tolos next on the Fan Upstate.
Think you can hang with
we would be remiss, Cole, if we let an absolutely massive milestone of this show pass us by without even mentioning it. Today marks Wire to Wire show number 500.
Whoa.
500.
Like 500.
500.
Okay.
As they would say. Show number 1 was March 25th, 2024. Today is show 500.
Officially marks year 3, right?
Correct.
We begin on year 3 of the show.
Right.
2024, year 1. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Here we are, 500 later. We hadn't been, I hadn't been fired yet. I mean, that's I guess our
Some
HR
of the things
department.
you've said?
HR just, I don't know. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. 500 shows. It went by fast. And it's a good time to announce to our Tolos that this is our last show together. I'm kidding.
Wait, what do you know?
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's a joke.
Dan B says happy 500th. He also mentioned earlier, we didn't get a chance to read this. He about the Diana Rossini letter. He said this is a letter of resignation to her boss, not exactly addressing the public, but I see your point.
Oh, she put it out there on
she
Twitter.
put it on her social media and then turned the comments off. She's absolutely addressing the public with that conversation. But look, 500 shows, that feels like a gigantic number. I mean, it feels like how in 2 years have we been on the show 500 times together?
It's a lot of hours together.
Yeah,
it is. And a lot of Dewey, and we hadn't even heard from Dewey today.
Right.
Where
you been, Dewey?
So it is 500. It's wild though, that we just had March. We just hit last month it was two years.
Mm-hmm.
And then now we're already at 500. So that just goes to show that's a lot of hours, on air hours. You do the math, 500 times 4, Diesel. That is a
2,000 hours.
2,000 hours. That's good math there, right? You like that?
Cole, doing this show with you now for the last 2 years, I got to give you a tremendous amount of credit because you're the most plugged in when it comes to local sports. No. I can't think of anybody else here in the upstate that knows the coaches, knows every basketball coach, every football coach. You have the inside scoop. You know where they're going. You know them on a personal level. You could call them up and get them on the show just about any time you want. And that is an incredibly difficult and worthwhile thing to note.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very nice. I have enjoyed it just as much as you have. But Diesel, I will say this, and not to steal your thunder. It is you and I enjoy the show, and we're doing the show, and nobody calls, nobody texts. We still enjoy the show. We enjoy it much more when the Tolos do participate. It's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Just like when you and I do a show solo, it's no fun. It's not as fun.
No,
it's just not. It's not near as fun.
When I've mentioned this to you personally, and I've talked to some of our other Tolos about it. I don't like hosting a show by myself.
Yeah, it's not near as fun.
Number one, it's a lot more work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot more work. Not only are you prepping 4 hours of radio by yourself, but you don't have that back and forth, bouncing off of one another conversation. You gotta, I don't like listening to monologue hosts.
Yeah.
I don't like being a monologue host. It's just not fun for me.
No, I'm with you. It is, it's a lot more fun when you have 2 or more, right? 2 or more. And when we have more, it's a lot of fun. And the total, and I brought this stat up a lot, Diesel. You and I have talked about this. This is a statistic out there that you can find. Only 2% of your listening audience actually interacts with you on a daily basis, which is a wild thing to think about because you and I think a good bit. We have a pretty good interaction from the Tolos that do interact. Mm-hmm. But it's mind-boggling to think that 98% of our audience doesn't even ever text in, doesn't ever call in. And I talk to people every night. I go to this time of year, I'm in a high school baseball game just about every night, right? And every night somebody will come up and say, listen to you and Diesel all the time. Never heard of what? Call in. 98% of the audience does not interact. That is a statistic out there.
Maybe that's a symptom of our society. People don't want to call in. Maybe people are embarrassed about, I don't know everything. I haven't, thought about how to bring this conversation. It doesn't matter. Just call in. Just call in and talk to us. We're not going to bite your head off.
Yeah.
If you get something wrong, we're not going to bite your head off if there's a stat or a fact or a figure that you get wrong. So just call in, be a part of the show. If you can't call in, text into the show.
There you go.
844-326-3663. You can always text in. Just do us a favor and sign your texts, because our system shows us a 10-digit phone number. Some numbers we start to recognize over time, but a lot of the times we don't. So we need you. For example, like Coop and Greer just texted in and says, congrats, guys. Keep it going. Coop and Greer. That's what we want you to do. We want you to text in with your name so that we can feel like we're having a conversation with you on a daily basis. If you just text in, that's okay.
Yeah.
But it's better when we know who we're talking to.
It is. And one of my favorite parts of doing the show, outside of doing the show with you, Diesel, is listening and reading text, listening to callers, listening to or reading text from the Tolos out there and meeting people that listen. That's my favorite thing about the job. It is, because we reach Spartanburg, Greenville, and Anderson. And when I'm out and about, getting tires changed or whatever, and somebody says Tolo or somebody said that they listen, it means a lot, because we do this job every day.
Yeah.
And to have feedback, we love the feedback. We love the good feedback. We love the negative feedback. There's both. And guess what? When you do this profession, you're going to have both. And that's fine. I've got thick skin. It doesn't bother me. I appreciate all of the Tolos who do listen, even the ones who don't text in. I wish you did, but it's okay. We still appreciate you listening. Texter says from the 919, station is now unlistenable outside of you guys. Bring back Ryder and Rob Brown. Costas can't even listen to his own promos. Well, Texter, look, here's the bottom line. Diesel and I show up to work every day, and we get paid to show up and be on the air from 3 to 7. And we leave, and then we come back the next day, and every now and then we're asked by management about this or that. The reality, though, is, Texter, Diesel and I are not management. If you don't like the other programming, I'm sorry. Send an email to management. Maybe it'll hit home. Maybe it won't. I don't like it either, just to be quite frank with you. If I'm being transparent, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not in the management position. Diesel's not in the management position. So number one, we do appreciate you listening to us, as it is show 500. We really would love when we hear from the Tolos out there. And if you don't like the other lineups, the other shows, I get it. But it's not Diesel's choice. It's not my choice. We have zero to do with it. Send an email to the station. Again, maybe it'll make its way to the right person. Maybe it won't. But I hate it for you that you don't listen. I've tried. We've tried to spice it up in different ways to make our lineup better. Again, at the end of the day, though, Diesel and I just don't have we don't have any control.
We don't have any control
over the lineup. So that's just being very transparent with you. That is the answer to your text.
We certainly couldn't do it without all of our loyal Tolos, and it blows me away. And it's going to sound bad when I say it, but I don't mean it like this. I can't believe we have as many Tolos as we do who are able to Tolo the entire show.
Oh yeah,
almost every day. I mean, it blows me away that we have people who are dedicated and like us enough to want to listen to us for 4 hours a day, every day.
I love it.
And y'all deserve a whole lot of appreciation. And this is in no particular order, but I wanted to shout out some of our best. I feel like I'm at
you're gonna forget people.
I feel like I'm at an award ceremony where I got to thank all the right people.
There you go. This is bad. This
in
is
no particular order. Okay,
you better say Dewey.
Tom in Somerville.
Oh, you didn't say Dewey first.
I didn't say Dewey first, but don't. I said in no particular order. He's not even listening today. Dewey's not Tolo today. Tom in Somerville, JD, Dewey, Rick and Greer, JB the OG Tolo.
Yep.
Corn Chip, Cocky for a Reason, Shane Dump Button Barrett, Madcraft, wherever he is. We still appreciate you, even though you're mad at us and you won't come on the air with us. Leprechaun of Lyman, Dan B, Kevin Inman, Buckeye Mike. Who else am I forgetting, Cole?
Kevin, you mentioned Kevin. This is bad. I hate doing this because I'll forget. There's a million interact. They space out.
We had Matt from Ohio yesterday.
Matt from Ohio. TA. Don't forget about TA. We have a lot of Tolos that do call in, and a lot more during football season, of course, especially with the Upset Picks Challenge, right? Dan, you said Dan B. You said Shane. Did you say Shane Barrett?
I did.
RJ. RJ's a big Tolo on the text line. So very much appreciate all of the Tolos that do listen. Because like I said, it's fun to do a radio show, just to be transparent with you, but it's so much more fun when we know that people are listening and interacting. I'm a people person. I love talking to people. I love talking. Like I said, I hate doing a show by myself. When it's just me, I'd much rather be doing it with Diesel. So very much appreciate all the ones that we forgot. Tolo Yardbird on the Joy Law Firm text line says, congrats on 500. Brian text in. He says, Brian again, go Hornets. Brian from Brevard, right? Or was I wrong on that? I think so.
Caller we had from Brevard.
I think
Great callers.
I apologize.
Great callers.
Maybe it was a different Brian or it was somebody else. I'm terrible with names. Anyways, Buckeye Mike says, we love you guys. I will always be listening to you. Appreciate that, Buckeye Mike. T Experience says, thanks, guys, for keeping this going. Oh, my gosh, the texters are just rolling in. Texter says, you all are famous. Can't just call you. Coming from Bryce and Welford. Been listening for y'all to y'all for 2 years. Bryce.
Thank you, Bryce.
Very much appreciate it. Good to hear from you. And thank you so much for listening. T Experience says, how dare you mention Mad Dash after I destroyed him off the air? Twice. What is he talking about?
What do you mean off the air? Or do you see you destroyed him so bad that he doesn't come on the air?
Oh, that's what he meant.
Is that what you mean, T Experience?
Yeah, I think so. Eric and Greer text in. He says, listens to almost the entire show all day, every day when I work out of town. Listen online. Awesome. Love it. Tiger Pal Rachel says, don't text every day, but I listen every day. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Rachel.
Go Yankees. I don't know about the Go Yankees.
You can read it. Aaron Judge, Mike Trout had a home run, had a dinger contest last night. You got to be careful with the way you say dinger contest around here.
Jeff R says happy 500. The text rolling in. Very, very much appreciate
Christy
that.
Mann, can't forget Christy Mann up there.
She's a big Tolo. My buddy Mark just texted me, said you forgot me. LOL. Congrats on 500.
Is this Mark L.O. Ducks?
No, this is a different Mark. This is a buddy of mine. He says second text. Diesel needs an award to put up with you. That might be true. That might be true. So, Mark, you can create the award for Diesel to have to put up with it. Corn Chip says congrats on 500. Feels like 5,000. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
5,000. Okay, so 5,000. We'd have to be on the air together for 20 years.
And that's not going to happen.
I'd be an old man.
That's not going to happen.
60-year-old Diesel and 50-year-old Cole
God.
Still doing radio in the upstate.
How many years would that be?
That'd be 20 years. 20
God.
years. It took us 2 years, right?
Yeah,
it took us 2 years to get
I'm going to tell you,
to
that's
500.
not going to happen. Not happen. I doubt in all seriousness, I doubt in 20 years local radio will be, I don't know.
Radio
it might not be a
thing.
thing.
Yeah.
It might not be. I mean, you got the big sticks out there that might be 20 years from now, though. Think about in the last 20 years, how many small radio stations have went under.
Right. And nobody, it's such a rare thing to be on the air for a couple of years, let alone 20 years. I mean, Hawk and Tom, the Rise guys, Ellis and Bradley here in the upstate of South Carolina. There's not that many radio shows that stick around, period, that long.
It's tough business. And I'll be transparent. I've been transparent a lot already in this segment. So not the first time, but local radios, it's tough. And I have another business, Diesel. You're on another station. Mm-hmm. Local radio doesn't last forever. And to have a show for 5-10 years, that's really, really tough. 2 years. Okay, let's see what we can do in 3 or 4 or 5. But local radio is tough, man. You just go back and look, like I said, how many stations have went out of business, over the past 10 years. It is a lot. There aren't many stations left in South Carolina, just privately owned. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Privately owned. Text. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, as such, we also have to thank all the different sponsors that have kept us on the air over the years. That's Ingalls and MTC and QC Kinetics and Twin Peaks and Underdog Dynasty. You were doing
Prize
for Prize Picks. All these different companies that have found ways and found the money to be able to sponsor us and sponsor our station and keep us on the air. We really appreciate them too.
Texter T Experience says, correct, Diesel literally banished him into another realm. The dump button gets in. I think that's Shane Barrett. We know who that is. He says, congrats, been listening to y'all since day one. Love y'all. Shane, we love you. You have been a day one, Tolo. We appreciate you as well.
Yep.
Texter, this comes from, I believe, Cocky for a Reason here. He says, yeah, I love you guys. You just way better than Mark. He was good, but y'all were just a little bit more personable. Love Diesel and Cole. Again, that comes from Cocky.
Thank you,
very
Cocky,
much appreciate that. Texter says, this is Brian Sheely from Greenville. I'll go by Sheely from now on. Super excited about the Hornets game tonight and looking forward to LaMelo Ball play. Oh, Brian, that was you texting about the Hornets. Okay, Brian in Greenville was texting about the Hornets. That was earlier in Brevard. I'm sorry. Maybe it's I forgot. I'm terrible with names. I'm so bad with names. I wish our phone system gave us names. It doesn't. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't think of who it was.
I'm getting flustered.
What was that guy's name? I'm so sorry, Tolo. If you're still listening.
Brad? No, Brad and Brevard?
No, I can't think of who it was.
It's hard to say.
Sorry, Tolo. Appreciate you. Call back if you're still listening in Brevard. And we have people that listen in Brevard, Somerville, all over, right? All over. Saludo Now on Facebook says, love y'all, even though I'm a Bulldog from Bulldog Bert. Bert, appreciate you.
You know, with as many Clemson fans and South Carolina fans as we are obviously going to have in our audience, we need more Bulldog fans.
I don't think we do.
And I know I understand what I'm unleashing here, pun intended, when I'm calling for more Bulldog fans. But I've yet to hear a Bulldog fan call in and bark on our airwaves. We're only like an hour and a half from Athens.
I don't know that you want more Georgia Bulldogs. It's the worst fan base in college sports. It is the worst fan base.
Just give them a little scratch behind the ear. They'll roll over. You can rub their belly. It's fine.
Sorry about that, Bulldog Bird. I love you. I love you. And I don't mean that personally.
Bert, but tell your friends. Tell them to call in. Bark in, whatever.
Eric and Greer text in. He says, second text, congrats on 500. I never realized until just now that I've been listening to y'all since the very beginning. Right at 2 years. Very cool. Eric and Greer, appreciate you. It was March of 2024. So we're now officially in year 3 since March and show 500. So we'll see. 1,000 would be basically 2028. Is that right?
I did the math on that. Yeah, it'd be about May of 2028. We can get there.
Do we make it to 1,000?
If we can get there.
Do we make it?
1,000 shows.
Do we make it to 1,000?
That feels like it's forever away.
It does feel like
But we could just blink our eyes and be there.
It does feel like it. Texter says, no, we do not need more Bulldog fans. Shane, the dump button Barrett. That comes from Shane. He says, Alabama's probably the worst, but Georgia's a close second. I'm not biased. I don't know that Bama's worse than Georgia. There's just something about those Georgia fans, man. And I'm surprised there hadn't been. I'm surprised there hadn't been more. There are a lot of Georgia fans in the upstate. There are. There really are. And by the way, also, last thing I'll say, we've got to run to a break.
Bama Springer. Got to thank Bama Springer, too.
Bama Springer.
Now that you brought him to mind, thank you, Shane.
Oh, you also, God. He is on a promo. He's on a promo.
Crazy Ralph?
Crazy Ralph.
Yeah, Crazy Ralph. Where's he at? He only shows up during football season.
Crazy Ralph is who I was thinking of. So I love it. I love it. I love the Tolos that listen each and every day. I very much appreciate Diesel and I very much appreciate all of you, even if you don't text in. My favorite thing is when I'm out and about, wherever, and somebody says they listen to the show. If somebody hears my name, Diesel, they say, oh, yeah, I know who you are. So it means a lot. It really does. It's a lot of fun. And we also appreciate those who don't like us. There are those out there, the haters.
Okay.
Guess what? You got to have haters. It's just part of it.
As long as you're listening, that's all that matters.
Long
Jersey
as
Joe,
you're
got to shout out Jersey
Joe.
You
forgot about Jersey Joe. See, I told you that you start calling out names and you forget everybody.
It's very much a top of mind. I had to write these down because I knew if I didn't write them down in advance, and I still missed a bunch of important names.
Hundreds. And you start thinking about them and adding them all up. You think, oh, wait, we do have a lot of people that interact.
It's humbling at that point.
A lot of people.
How many people do.
And again, that's only 2%. I don't know who did this study. It wasn't our boss, but somebody did it. Somebody smarter than us, right? Did the study, and it's only 2% of your audience.
Is that one of those logical fallacies that sounds real? Well, it sounds plausible, but it's not true?
No, because our boss told us that one time. So I researched it. I looked it up. And according to what I found online, it was actually true. So again, it's online. Doesn't mean it's true because you found it online. But
I'll ask ChatGPT.
Oh, boy. We're going to do this live on air? Are you asking? What are you asking?
I said our radio station boss tells us that only 2% of listeners actually call in. Interact. Yeah. Is that true based on any research?
Well, I asked it earlier if Rory had won a Masters, and it said no before the show started today. And it said no, he's won 2. What does it say?
It says your boss isn't crazy, but that 2% number isn't some universal law. It's more of a rule of thumb.
And the market that you're in.
That happens to line up with how passive most radio audiences are.
Yeah.
We don't have passive listeners, and we have aggressive listeners.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Cocky for a Reason says, How can I hate someone who buys my wife a ribeye steak bone in, nonetheless?
He's never going to let you live that down.
I did. A $19 steak that you complained about, by the way.
Gave away Cocky for a reason.
I mean, my gosh.
I think you should buy Cole a beer for that.
And we never even got a finished product of what it looked like. We didn't get it. Cocky for a reason's wife should have called in to thank me. I mean, Cocky didn't even eat the steak that I bought him.
Mrs. Cocky. We need a call from Mrs. Cocky.
Miss Cocky. I like it. Yeah. I like it. All right, what happened to the Braves last night? Can they bounce back? What went wrong? We'll get into it next.
Wire to Wire with Cole, Bryson, and Diesel on the Fan Upstate.
Atolo just texted me, Diesel, and I'm not going to say who it was. Are you hinting that you are going to be quitting soon? I'm not saying that. No.
God, people will read anything.
I'm just saying radio's a tough business. No. I'm not going anywhere anytime soon unless they fire me, which is possible. I mean, I usually say like one thing a day I shouldn't, but it's just part of it, right? And no, we both love what we do. We're just saying radio. You have to be very thankful to be in radio one more day because local radio is very, very tough. It is very, very tough. So appreciate all of those who have listened. And we are going to quickly, and like by quickly, I mean in 6.2 seconds, talk about the Atlanta Braves who lost last night. Things didn't go well, but they are back in action tonight, Diesel. And that's pretty much all the time we have on the Atlanta Braves.
Hey, all right. Hey, that's a good thing about Major League Baseball is you can't get too worked up about it because you got to play again tomorrow.
You got to play, and that's all the time we have before we get back into the audio from Augusta.
Yeah, so much weird audio. A player cramping up, stomach giving him the old rumble while he was out on the course.
Hal Tong Lee.
Yeah,
I love that name, by the way.
Somehow found a way to play well through it anyway. We'll talk about that next right here on the Fan Upstate.